It always sounds better. It always sounds better the first time I do it. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside the XL Energy Center for the final game of quarterfinal Wednesday on the A side of the bracket. As we've got the 4-5 matchup between number 4 Greenway Nashwauk-Keewatin and number 5 Delano. Greenway kind of the seeded darling of the tournament, if you want to go that route, as they took out number 1 Hermantown, the Hawks, who had been to 9 straight tournaments. Saw their run end in double overtime at the hands of the Raiders at Amsoil Arena last week. We'll take on number 5 Delano. We're going to turn it over momentarily for player introductions, along with Nate Olson, Patrick Lilia, John Sands upstairs, Pete Wagner down below. Really a lot to digest from this matchup. We'll get to it after the player introductions as the teams have taken the ice. Chalk has held through the first 3 games, with North Branch being waxed at the hands of St. Cloud Cathedral, as now we will turn it over to the PA for player introductions momentarily. St. Cloud Cathedral advanced convincingly. Matomidi advanced convincingly. We're going to turn it over now to the PA announcer, Jim Carroll, for player introductions.
Quarterfinal features the champions of Section 2 with a record of 17-9-2, the Delano Tigers. Against the champions of Section 7 with a record of 15-13, the Greenway Raiders. Before we meet the teams, let's meet the Greenway cheerleaders. Michaela Stram, Iris Jensen, Aaron Gustafson, Libby Vekic, Emma Sutherland. Now, let's meet the Tigers. Sophomore defenseman number 3, Jack Kiernan. Sophomore defenseman number 6, Colin Pettit. Junior forward number 7, Corey Dunnigan. Sophomore forward number 8, Brad Pinanini. Junior defenseman number 9, Mark Hollonen. Senior defenseman number 11, Garrett Durst. Senior forward number 12, Hogan Williams. Sophomore forward number 13, Adam Brown. Senior forward number 15, Tommy Peterson. Junior forward number 17, Jacob Marciniak. Sophomore forward number 18, Trevor Oya. Senior forward number 21, Joseph Blanchard. Junior defenseman number 22, Chuck Campion. Senior forward number 24, Chase Hollonen. Junior forward number 27, Michael Weber. Senior forward number 28, Quinn Daly. Senior goalie number 30, Aaron Cruz. Freshman defenseman number 33, Colin Lommel. Junior goalie number 35, Cade Lommel. Senior defenseman number 39, Luke Truax. The assistant coaches are Chad Wagner and Ryan Guile. Head coach is Garrett Van Bergen, the Delano Tigers. Now, let's meet the Raiders. Freshman forward number 2, Ezra Carlson. Sophomore forward number 3, Derek Davidson. Junior forward number 4, Mitchell Vekic. Junior defenseman number 6, Brock Trebojevic. Senior forward number 7, Tristan Birdsall. Junior forward number 8, Ben Trombley. Senior defenseman number 10, Cameron Lance. Senior defenseman number 11, Aaron Elich. Junior defenseman number 12, Christian Miller. Senior forward number 13, Dante Lawson. Senior forward number 14, Stephen Ugrich. Sophomore defenseman number 15, Ty Donahue. Senior forward number 16, Logan Seeley. Junior forward number 17, Micah Jonander. Senior forward number 19, Nikolai Ryla. Senior forward number 20, Will Jurgensen. Sophomore forward number 22, Nick Miskovich. Senior forward number 23, Spencer Bonham. Junior goalie number 24, Logan Wright. And senior goalie number 30, Tyler Penny. The assistant coaches are Adam Johnson and Andy Search. Head coaches Brad Clapton, the Greenway Raiders. Here tonight's game officials on the line. Sits back and give the goes on. The referees are C.J. Berline and Bill Danielson. We played the anthem prior to our 6 p.m. game. It's now time for Tigers Raiders.
Well, we welcome you back inside our broadcast booth. The teams have been introduced along once again with Nate Olson, Patrick Lilia here with you. So we got the 4-5 matchup in front of us. Many people expecting this could be the game of the day. So tell us about how these teams match up and what might make this game special.
Yeah, so Delano's going to do an excellent job locking down their own end of the ice, and they take away a lot of the middle of the ice. They're going to keep you on the outside, limit your grade A scoring opportunities, and lean on their backbone, which is their goaltender. Again, he has not let up a goal in the section playoffs at all. And Aaron Krause, not Adam. Adam was an old Hermantown Hawk. Aaron Krause, 13-6-1 in net with a 2.47 goals against and a 905 save percentage. 6 shutouts on the year for Mr. Krause, so he's been very good and has 3 straight shutouts, and it's been a while since he's given up a goal. And then you got the Greenway Raiders, who they've got some depth in their lineup. They've got a Division I commit on the defense side of things with Christian Miller. He's headed to St. Cloud. And then we've also got Ben Trombley. He's a St. Cloud State commit as well. They both committed as freshmen in high school and both made very clear that they got that out of the way so that their #1 goal was to bring the Greenway Raiders to this moment right here, where they're going to make their return to the state tournament for the first time since 2001. Hermantown is not here for the first time in 9 years. And here we go. We've got Delano to our left. We've got Greenway to our right. Greenway in the white jerseys, red helmets, green helmets, green pants, and green trim. And the Delano Tigers in the orange, black helmets, black pants, white trim. And off we go, Pat.
As Delano sends the face-off in deep, it's controlled behind the net by Cameron Lance for Greenway. As Greenway having a little bit of a messy zone exit, they are able to poke it back out to neutral ice, and here they come up the near side board with Mitch Vekic. Vekic into the offensive zone. Vekic gets knocked off the puck. Loose out front, and there was a shot that might have gotten in on the goaltender Cruz. Let's send back out to neutral ice. Greenway possesses there, then thrown in deep by the Raiders, and Cruz will have to hold on to this one. We'll have an offensive zone face-off for the Raiders. 16:23 to go in the first period. no score thus far, and I think a lot of energy in the stands. We have at least 5 sections of Greenway fans right in front of our vantage point from up here in the broadcast booth, so they are here and they are loud.
Yeah, they've been waiting a long time for this moment, and excellent day for them and their program to be back here on the big stage.
As play resumes down in the Delano offensive zone, is trying to battle through that one is Dante Lawson, who will be best remembered, the hero who scored the double overtime goal to beat Hermantown last week to get the Raiders down here to St. Paul. This play continues again down in the Delano end of things, able to be held in at the point, played around down to the near side. The Tigers send this one out to neutral ice, and so sneaks through everything. Raiders back to play it deep in their own zone. They'll bring it around the near side. And there's a takeaway, and having to try to get on top of that one was right, and he couldn't do it. Raiders eventually, though, able to come out with it. The very dangerous wraparound attempt from Delano there. 15:29 to go, first period. Here come the Tigers quickly back into the offensive zone once again. They'll play it around. There's a centering feed that will go through all the way up high in the zone. There's a shot that's blocked. Off the stick of Luke Truax, and back come the Raiders the other way. Truax, though, able to take that puck away. As the Tigers send it deep into the Delano zone once again. Here come the Raiders out through the neutral zone. We'll throw this one in. As Delano will look to break out from behind their own net. 2 minutes into this game, 2-1 shots on goal for Greenway. 1 shot for Delano. As Stephen Ugrich tried to send this one the other way. The battle ensues along the far side boards in the Raider zone. It's poked up into the corner. He'll play this one through. This one deflected down into the slot area, now cleared out by Greenway. It'll go all the way down for an icing and a face-off coming in the Raider zone. 14:32 to go in the first period, no score.
Yeah, a couple times there, Greenway did a really good job clogging up the middle of the ice. A couple of long shots that Delano attempted to get to the net, and they were blocked both times there and knocked down in front by the Raider defenseman, which is an important thing to watch here. Is that's kind of Delano's style too, so I think we're going to see a lot of this tight checking type game, and right as I say that, here we go. We'll probably have like a 7-6 type of game here.
As Cameron Lance plays this one around for Greenway, the Raiders roll through the neutral zone. A good job, though, at the blue line by Delano. The 4 Tigers waiting at the blue line, basically daring the Raiders to try to get past them into the offensive zone. The Raiders able to get it down into the Delano zone. It'll work its way behind the Tiger net. It's back to the point for the Raiders. There's one thrown in deep. That's blocked. On the stick of Beckett, it's in back the other way. Able to be held in by the Raiders, and now the Tigers through the neutral zone. Here they come as this one dumped down in by Jack Karanen. Worked his way around the net up into the far side corner. He's possessed there on the far side boards by Quinn Daly. Daly with 13 goals on the season, the 3rd leading goal scorer for Delano. As the Raiders send it back through the neutral zone all the way back into the Tiger zone. The Tigers will play it off the end boards behind their net. As the Raiders able to force it up into the far side corner. Here come the Tigers trying to get it back the other way, but they lose control of it. That centering feed for the Raiders sneaks through all the way down to the near side. Now back out to neutral ice. Here come the Tigers into the offensive zone, but offside is Daly, and we'll have a neutral zone face-off. 13:17 to go in the first period. No score.
Yeah, that should bring us to our first TV timeout of the second game here tonight. And what a good atmosphere here to start. Both teams trying to move the puck. Both teams doing a good job locking each other down and not letting a ton get going here. And first few minutes of a lot of these games we've seen today have been a lot of feel each other out, kind of get to know each other a little bit. Maybe a hit here or there, try and establish pucks deep and go forecheck a little bit. And both teams are going to try and establish their style of play and their pace of play as they try and position themselves to get on the board first, which in this game's a huge, huge thing. With Delano, as we know, very good defensively, so if they can strike first, they can try and clog things down, lock it up, but Greenway's going to try and get on the board first to make Delano have to push and open their game up a little bit.
Tonight's game brought to you by Sportsman's Guide in South St. Paul this Saturday afternoon from 10 a.m. to noon, so Saturday morning then. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to noon, this up to a 60% off all merchandise at their Beyond the Pond event. They'll be at the Sportsman's Guide in South St. Paul this Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon, right before puck drop on the Class A title game.
Yeah, you can check out the On the Pond show. That's on KFAN every Saturday morning from 10 to noon, as he mentioned. And fun show. They always do a good job covering not only high school hockey, but college hockey throughout the state. Some chatter along with the Wild. So a good program to check out.
The Raiders possess on the near side. Is trying to get this one out into the neutral zone. Is Lawson. Lawson trying to force this one ahead. Is getting tied up, though, at the red line, and the Tigers able to send it back in deep. Like to pick it up behind his own net is Aaron Ellich, who will play it around to the near side, and then it gets thrown in on goal by the Tigers in 11 offensive zone face-off for Delano with 12:57 to go in the first period.
Yeah, we're going to face off here, as you mentioned, in the Greenway zone. And see if these teams can get something going off the draw. We haven't had a ton of face-off success. I think we've only seen one goal scored off the draw throughout 3 games today.
There was a shot off the face-off, and that one got through. That was Colin Pettit, who had a great look at that one, and Wright had to make the save with the pad. Well, there you go. Nate's got that shot off the draw, and it got through to the goaltender.
Yeah, Logan Wright with a nice kick save with his left pad.
As Greenway quickly drove back into the offensive zone, and they had a shot go just wide as we go 12:35 to go in the first period. No score. The final game of the night. It's quarterfinal Wednesday. The top 3 seeds advancing on a scale of fairly convincingly to very convincingly, looking at the 3 top seeds who won earlier today. The 2 top seeds, of course, St. Cloud Cathedral and Matamidi winning by a combined score of 13-0. And then East Grand Forks winning as well. That one got a little bit hairier for the Green Wave about midway through that game, and they were able to put that one away in the third period and cruise to a 5-2 win. And here come the Raiders out of their own zone, looking to break out ahead. There's Cameron Lance. Lance gets tied up at the red line. It's able to be dumped in deep to the Delano zone. It comes around to the near side corner. It's getting tied up there are the Raiders, and they'll look to try to force it back deep into the zone as it's sent back out to neutral ice. The Raiders bring it back in. There's a shot that's saved by Cruz. It comes down to the near side. Now sent back out to neutral ice where the Raiders again dump it in deep with Lance. Delano looks to break out from behind their own net, and they'll send this one through the neutral zone where the Raiders will go back to pick it up deep in their own zone. Lance with it. Lance into the offensive zone. He'll gain the offensive zone. He might have got a nice little screen there as he gained the offensive blue line. And he's forced to drive up into the far side corner where the Tigers will tie up the puck, and they'll look to come out with it. Delano plays it back around their own net to the near side. They'll bank it off the near side boards back out into the neutral zone. The Tigers able to push it down into the Raider zone, but the Raiders able to force it right back out as Christian Miller right there to send it back out. Christian Miller with 2 goals, 14 assists on the season, as we'll have an icing call here, and a face-off coming deep in the Delano zone with 10:57 to go in the first period.
Yeah, you mentioned Miller. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, he is a St. Cloud State commit, and he'll be playing his college hockey there. Play for the Huskies, who are currently ranked number 1 in the nation and in the all-important pairwise ranking. So all but sure that they'll be headed to Fargo for their regional as the number 1 overall seed in the national tournament.
As Delano off the face-off, plays it around their own net down to the near side boards. They'll get it out to neutral ice. As trying to tie this one up is Ellich, but the Tigers will gain the offensive zone, and then trying to drive his way through the circle was Tommy Peterson, but he got tied up as he started making his move out of the circle. The Raiders will have it behind their own net. They'll look to break out from the far side. A long pass through the neutral zone. Able to be not smoothly, but it was collected by the Raiders and will carry it into the offensive zone. The Raiders circle on the far side boards, going to kick it back out to the point. There's a shot in! Able to make the save, it's Cruz, and finally able to get on top of it.
Yeah, Cruz smothered that one there. A couple of Raiders banging on the doorstep trying to put that puck home, and Cruz was up to the task, and so He'll face off to his left here with 10:15 to go in the first period of this Class A quarterfinal.
Miller was the one who took that long shot from the point. The face-off controlled again by Greenway at the point. They'll play this one along the far side boards. As Ezra Carlson will play this one around all the way down to the near side. Delano looking to send it back around their own net. Greenway will cycle it back around to the near side where Delano now has it. They'll bring it out to neutral ice. And the Tigers in deep to the offensive zone where Daly drops it in on the goaltender Wright, who will hold on and will have an offensive zone face-off for Delano. 9:51 to go in the first period.
Yeah, this face-off's going to come to the Greenway goaltender Logan Wright's left as we break for the 10-minute TV timeout.
So I think the teams thus far, they're still trying to feel each other out a little bit. Still haven't really had a lot of good offensive chances either way. We get the TV timeout here. There's tonight's game, also presented by Brew Pub Lots of Matza Pizza, half a pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese. And I still haven't really eaten much today other than the snack mix on the back table that's been kind of hanging around. Didn't really get a chance to grab any lunch or dinner here at the arena the way things have shaken out today, so that pizza really sounded pretty good right now.
Yeah, that pizza does not sound bad. Isn't pizza ever bad? You know, that's kind of one of those things that can always crush a pizza.
I'm right there with you on that one. Trying to think of some examples, but I don't want to name names. I don't want to give anybody any bad publicity tonight.
These Greenway fans, probably the most vocal we've had of the entire tournament so far. And fun to see. You know, that's what it's all about. It's all about just having your community here, seeing all the youngsters in all the green running around, cheering along with these high schoolers, and looking like, man, I just really want to bring my team there someday when I'm playing for the Raiders. And that's a cool thing about this tournament, something that's really special, and lucky to have us be a part of it from up here. And I know I've gotten to watch some players enjoy this state tournament and been a part of it in that realm as well, and there's just really nothing better when it comes to hockey in Minnesota.
And they score! Delano takes the lead at 1-0. That shot right off the face-off. It's going to be Corey Dunnigan, I think, with the goal. And just like that, Delano strikes first, 1-0.
Wow, what a shot by Dunnigan. We talked a little earlier that nobody's really scored off of the face-offs yet this evening. Puck dropped on that one. Everybody does an excellent job, and Dunnigan picks that puck up in the slot and goes high to the blocker side of Logan Wright. And just like that, the Delano Tigers, which a big goal for them was to get the first goal of the game, they've got it. They lead 1-0 now. And we're halfway through, we're almost halfway through this first period, and Delano's yet to give up a goal in the playoffs and now have a 1-0 lead here off of, again, a beautiful wrister high to the blocker side, right in the top left corner for Corey Dunnigan, and that was his 8th goal of the season at the 7-11 mark of period number 1.
It's interesting. So you talked about getting those goals right off the face-off, and that was actually the second really good look that the Tigers have had off the face-off as Greenway trying to answer right away, has almost a couple of good looks at the net as well, but the Tigers able to drive it right back the other direction into the offensive centering feed. They score! Jack Kiernan puts Delano up 2-0 just 22 seconds after they took the 1-0 lead.
And all that did was started off a beautiful, and I mean absolutely beautiful boards pass there by number 15 for the Delano Tigers. My goodness, what a play. He made a boards pass as he brought the puck up the right side behind the defenseman, was picked up there, and that was picked up there by number 13 for the Delano Tigers, and just like that, it's 2-0. Great job. Stick on the ice, going to the net with your stick on the ice. Just a simple play there, and an effective one that gives Delano a 2-0 lead. And all of a sudden here, Greenway reeling a little bit. Looks like they are possibly reviewing something here. The officials are waiting to bring that right up to the face-off dot, and the Raiders are trying to chat there with the officials in the ref circle, but Karanen, as we mentioned, gets his 6th goal this season off a beautiful 3-on-2 rush. Started with a great boards pass, a unique play. You don't usually see the boards pass to beat that defenseman. Stick to the ice for Karanen, and he redirected it right in past Logan Wright, the Greenway goaltender. 2-0. The Delano Tigers lead the Greenway Raiders.
Well, Delano striking fast and hard. 2 goals in 21 seconds. They take a 2-0 lead. That one coming at 7:31 of this first period. Off the icing, though, they'll have a face-off deep in the Tiger zone. It's Delano deciding who they want to take this face-off. It's controlled by the Raiders. There's a shot that'll go wide. It comes down to the near side. Battle ensues along those near side boards with a couple of Tigers in the Raiders. Moves way behind the net. It's kicked up to the far side. From the Tigers once again through neutral ice. This will be dumped in deep by Tommy Peterson. Work its way back around to the near side. A long cross-ice pass as the Raiders enter the offensive zone. They'll chip this one through the corner as it works in on the goaltender Cruz, who has to dive on it. Looks like an awkward bounce as it ended up on Cruz, and he's able to hold on. 8:47 to go here in the first period. Greenway trying to answer after the 2 lightning scores from Delano. Made it 2-0. First one from Dunnigan, and then 21 seconds later it was Karanen.
Jim Carroll busy down there with the back-to-back goals like that. 20 seconds apart, I believe.
Absolutely. We've got their own announcer up here in the booth, and he's been pretty busy as well. And I think he gave us the 2nd goal before he gave us the first one. Kind of listening to that conversation through our headset, the announcement over the PA up here in the press area. Raiders able to control the offensive zone. They'll play this one around. It'll work its way back out to neutral ice. Raiders send this one back down in deep into the Delano zone. Well, that's going to be an icing, and we're going to have a face-off deep in the Greenway zone. 8:11 to go in the first period.
Yeah, kind of a seeing-eye puck through the neutral zone and through a bunch of traffic. They ended up not touching anybody. It was iced from the far blue line, and the Raiders going to have to regroup here. Shots are 6 apiece, so the game's been fairly even. Delano just a beautiful job off of the face-off to get their first goal, and then an excellent, well-executed 3-on-2, and that's the difference in the hockey game so far, 2-0.
Delano with another shot off the face-off. It was Adam Brown, the leading goal scorer for Delano. First time we've called his name tonight. So that's 3 good looks off the face-offs, including the 1 goal. Here come the Raiders back into the offensive zone with Lawson. Lawson with a shot, and that'll go wide of the net. It'll work its way up to the far side boards. As Delano takes it from the corner. Good play by Lawson trying to take that puck away. It'll end up coming all the way around to the near side. Be held in at the point, and it's deflected up into the corner on the centering feed. As Lawson had worked his way in front. Back the other direction come the Tigers through the neutral zone. They'll dump this one down in deep, and they will change. 7:18 to go in the first period. 2-0. The Delano Tigers with the lead. Back-to-back goals 20 seconds apart by Dunnigan and Karanen for Delano here in this first period. And the Raiders again up the near side boards into the offensive zone as Tristan Birdsall trying to work this one around the net. He gets tied up behind the net. It comes free in the circle, and there's a shot through out front. Backhand, couldn't really get a lot on it. Was Lawson. Lawson getting tied up in the near side corner. As Delano looking to bring it back the other way with Truax. Truax will get this one out to neutral ice. From the Tigers through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. There's a shot that'll be steered aside. The goaltender right. He deflected up into the netting, and we'll have a face-off with 6:33 to go in the first period.
Yeah, Dante Lawson's been kind of the Energizer Bunny for the Raiders now, and he's created a few pretty good opportunities there. The leading point scorer for the Greenway Raiders with 27 goals and 24 assists on the season. 51 points, which is 19 more than the next closest guy on the squad, so no surprise that he's in the thick of some offensive opportunities.
Well, the face-off, it trickles around to the near side. As the Raiders able to get it back out to neutral ice. Delano, though, has it there. They'll look to reset if they have to play it now deep in their own zone. As it's taken away by the Raiders. Offensive zone turnover. Turnaround shot was blocked. Lawson turnaround shot. That'll go wide. Here's Vekic. Vekic will get it back up high. There's a shot through traffic, and the Tigers able to clear it out off the blocked shot.
Man, Tigers had 3 bodies in that shooting lane there. If it didn't hit the first guy, it was hitting one of the other 2. Excellent defensive zone coverage.
As Christian Miller has the puck poked away from him. Raiders losing control of the puck. Here comes Delano. 2-on-1 if they hurry once again, and a good job by Lawson to fend that one off, as he just kind of challenged the attacker and was able to drive the attacker and Delano player up to the far side boards. And the Tigers resetting in the neutral zone. They'll play this one down in deep. They'll play it behind their net. They played the other direction by Aaron Ellich down to the near side. The Raiders trying to set up in their own zone. Ellich with it. He'll take it back on the give and go, and then he loses control of the puck. Into the offensive zone. There's a shot that's saved as working his way in on the breakaway. Comes back around to the near side corner. It was Joseph Blanchard who came away with that puck a moment ago. And very fortunate for Greenway, it's not 3-0 now. Here come the Raiders with speed back into the offensive zone. The Tigers promptly take it right back as Greenway able to send it back in deep to the Delano zone, where the Tigers will take possession there. They'll bank it back out to neutral ice. It's picked up by Lance. Lance will bring it in for Greenway. They'll play it off the end boards, and the Tigers will clear it out. It'll go for an icing and a face-off back in the Delano zone with 4:37 to go in the first period.
Yeah, as we hit the TV time out there, you know, Greenway really trying to generate some speed off the rush. Their zone entry's been pretty good the last few minutes here. They're getting pucks wide. They're not forcing anything to the middle. They're being patient with the puck and possessing it, and starting to settle in a little bit more into what they're trying to accomplish and how they want to play this hockey game. And it's going to be a tough battle here. They got to get the first goal in the net on Delano. I mean, Delano doesn't think they're going to get scored on the rest of the year. They think they're going to have 6 shutouts, and that's how it's going to go. So Greenway's got to continue to stay on it. They're playing fine. It's only a 2-goal hockey game, and it's still early here. 4:37 left in the first period, but just got to keep playing their game and keep being consistent, getting pucks to the net. And as soon as they get some pucks to the net, they got to capitalize on an opportunity as it arises.
Go in the middle of the TV timeout, 4:37 to go in the period, and as Delano has gotten off to this really good start, and Greenway trying to push back a little bit, and I think of course, the Tigers fans are hoping that if they're going to save some of these shutouts, they're especially going to want one on Friday should they win, given their opponent if they win tonight, which would be Matamidi, who put up 6 goals on New Ulm earlier in that victory.
I got a feeling Coach Van Bergen's just sitting there saying, yeah, let's just get through this next shift here and let's just keep things simple. But you're right. I think as the fans and looking from a higher perspective, I guess, where you're not involved in the locker room, definitely. If Delano can get through this Greenway team here and finish this off and complete the game here and the win tonight, a shutout against Matamidi would be fantastic. However, a tough and tall task if that situation arises.
Or it's worth noting a little bit that the Delano lead here the first time that the lower seed has led in a game today. The lower seeds, none of them led at any point. Of course, North Branch and New Ulm both shut out in their losses. Well, Minnesota River got it to within 3-2 at one point, and there's a long shot snagged by Wright as driving in the slot once again was Joseph Blanchard for Delano. Blanchard, we've seen him have a couple of nice shifts here over the last few minutes.
Yeah, he's been creating and doing what he can to try and get things rolling offensively, but
Blanchard had 9 goals and 14 assists on the season. As Delano controls the offensive zone face-off. There's a shot that's blocked. Here come the Raiders the other way through the neutral zone with Vekic. Vekic trying to send it to the far side and lands, but it was deflected back into the Greenway zone. Tie up in front of the Raider bench. Now with the Raiders come out with it, they'll get it down to Vekic on the near side. Vekic will play this one in deep to the Delano zone as Cruz out to play it. As then Vekic doing a good job of preventing Delano from taking control of the puck as the Tigers now are able to send it back out through neutral ice. The Raiders back to pick it up high in their own zone. They'll play it down to the near side. Way back through the Delano zone. We're back to pick it up behind his own net is Karanen. Karanen will send it to the far side. Here come the Tigers the other way, back through the neutral zone. Into the offensive zone they come. As reversing direction near the goal line. The Raiders will bring it back the other way through the neutral zone. Here's Lawson. Lawson working his way in. Lawson behind the net will kick it back out to the point. Ellich on the near side. He'll take a long shot. That's saved and held on to by Cruz.
Nice tip there in front, too. It was a nice job by Cruz to read the misdirection of that puck hitting the stick. And face off with 3:14 to go in the Delano Tigers end to the right of their goaltender, Aaron Cruz.
As you can hear the Delano fans, they've got the Cruz every time that their goaltender makes a stop. Kind of like the Doob chant for a certain other tenant of the XL Energy Center. As Delano ices the puck off the face-off, he'll have another face-off deep in the Tiger zone. 3:05 to go here in the first period.
I'm guessing the Tigers have heard a lot of that Cruz here the last couple of weeks throughout the playoffs. And again, we talked about 6 shutouts on the year for Aaron Cruz. 3 in a row here, and he's looking to get, at minimum, his 10th period in a row.
The shot through traffic, that got through to Cruz, as letting go on that shot was Miller. As Greenway maintains the offensive zone. That's a shot, they score! Aaron Ellich with his first goal of the season. Rather, excuse me, that's going to be Micah Jeminder with his 5th of the season. And it's 2-1, and the shutouts, his streak is over.
Oh, man, Jernander did such a good job finding a soft spot in between the top of the circle and the slot. He was patient with it. He shot it across the green, and so what I mean by that is the goaltender coming off of the left post just a little bit as that pass came from the goaltender's left. He slid just a touch outside of his angle and was beat on the short side. A beautiful wrist shot there. And again, that's just a savvy play by Jernander to get himself in a soft spot and to cut the lead in half. It's 2-1 Delano now with a goal for Jernander for the Raiders at 14:07 of period 1.
As it's off the face-off, pushed back into the Delano offensive zone. That centering feed off the stick of Peterson was blocked. He'll play it back off the end boards. The battle ensues on the end boards now. He's trying to come out with it with the Tigers. The Raiders eventually will come out of the scrum with it. Here's Lawson. We'll play this one ahead. Through the neutral zone come the Raiders. One of the Raiders gets tripped up entering the offensive zone as Delano plays it around their net. They battle along the far side boards. It comes free in the slot, and Delano possesses it there. They'll get it back out to the neutral zone. Bank it in deep. That's going to be an icing and a face-off deep in the Delano zone. Once again, 2:08 to go in the first period.
Yeah, it was a big goal for the Raiders. They had actually kind of carried play for a couple of minutes there and continued to stay on their game, and now cut the lead in half, get them a little confidence, and keep pushing.
An offensive zone face-off coming for the Raiders here. Be to the right of the goaltender Cruz. Still loose in the circle, now poked down to the near side boards. It'll be held in at the point, it'll go wide of the net. As Ellich able to hold that one in. He played through the far side corner, work its way around the net, back down to the near side. It's Delano trying to clear it out. So it'll be held in by the Raiders, now poked back out to neutral. As Delano resets in their own zone when they get it back. The Tigers will throw this one down deep into the Greenway zone. We're under 2 minutes to play, almost under a minute and a half to play. The Raiders possess, and there's a little bit of a bad pass. It's intercepted by the Tigers in their offensive zone. The Raiders are able to recover, and they'll get it back out to neutral.
The Raiders' leading scorer there, it's the assist. It's Dante Lawson's 25th assist of the season on that Jernander goal. Again, Jernander's 5th of the year, and cut the lead to 2-1.
If the Tigers come in offside as they're getting tied up at the line a little bit, it was Hogan Williams that will have a neutral zone face-off with 1:13 to go in the first period. And Greenway took a couple of punches. Now they've thrown a punch back. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and you know, as we talked about, Greenway had kind of been pushing there for about 4 or 5 minutes and had some sustained offensive zone time, and that was an important goal for them to just settle back in, get themselves within a shot, and then to beat that goaltender. Finally, they get one behind Kraus. And now Kraus doesn't have to think about the shutout streak. You got nobody on Delano thinking about that. Now they can just play and just ready to rock and roll.
As play moves into the Greenway zone, if there's a shot that's saved for second chance, they score! And the Tigers retake the 2-goal lead. Gonna be Tommy Peterson. We've called his name a few times in this first period. Gets a dirty work goal. It's 3-1 Delano.
Yeah, and that all started actually with Peterson's effort in the corner. He won a puck battle there, and it looked like he moved that puck up the wall, and puck came to the slot, and he got a shot. And after that, winning that battle in the corner, Peterson goes right to the net. His stick's on the ice. He bangs in a rebound behind Logan Wright. Wright got outstretched a little bit and was in the splits as Peterson beat him to his right. And it's 3-1 Delano here with a huge goal late in this first period. 52 seconds to go. Tommy Peterson, huge goal for the Delano Tigers.
After Greenway had seized that momentum, they got the goal. They finally got on the board from Jamander. And Delano retakes the 2-goal advantage. It's 3-1 with under 40 seconds to go in this first period. The Tigers again in the offensive zone, trying to drive his way around the net is Dunnigan, where he has the puck taken away from him as it's in back the other way. Held in at the point, and Wright has to make a save on that long shot from Dunnigan once again. And it's in back out through the neutral zone. Delano has it there, and they'll chip this one down into the Greenway zone. About to go under 10 seconds to go here in the first period. One last rush perhaps for the Raiders, but it's going to be a 1-on-5 effort. But a great job by the Tigers to sort of seal that one off. And there's a long shot at the buzzer that'll go wide. We'll go to the first intermission with the Tigers leading at 3-1. They got the 2 quick goals, 20 seconds apart, but then they got another big one to answer the Greenway goal. How do you make that first period? Certainly a lot to digest. Both teams really, I think, you know, after they got over the feeling out each other's stage, I think they're still trying to really figure out like what the other team is going to throw at them. But Delano's put the 3 goals on the board.
Yeah, you know, it's been a interesting period. Greenway carried a lot of the play through the middle of it, even though it was a 2-0 game. Delano's had a couple of quick strikes. They had their first 2 goals of the game were 20 seconds apart. Greenway answers to cut the lead to 2-1. And then late in that period there with 53 seconds remaining, the Tigers and Tommy Peterson make it 3-1. Good chance for both these teams to take a deep breath now and regroup. I think Delano loves how that period went. They ended up with a 2-goal lead out of that. They played pretty loose, played kind of how they want to. But Garrett Van Brangen, their coach, is going to want to make a few adjustments, I think, particularly in their own end of the ice, just to make sure they're cleaned up and bought into kind of what they're trying to accomplish. And then the Greenway Raiders, they've just got to take a settle down approach. It looked like they were a little bit tight, playing with a little bit of too much emotion, a little bit out of sorts. Logan Wright's got to settle down. It looked like he fought the puck just a little bit. 3 goals on 9 shots, not ideal, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. So going to be a good time for both of these teams to just settle back down and kind of readjust what they've got to do, make the proper adjustments to make things work and get things rolling.
So we'll go to the first intermission here at XL Energy Center. The final quarterfinal game of Quarterfinal Wednesday will see the Delano Tigers holding a 3-1 lead over the Greenway Raiders. You're watching MNHockey.tv's live audio coverage.
tomorrow's engineer.
Accountant. Pediatrician. Dermatologist.
Sports reporter. Astrophysicist.
Subject matter now between periods here. State high school hockey tournament action continues, section and state tournament playoffs. And we're going to talk some goaltending, near and dear to my heart, with Larry Grace Jr. from Optimal Goaltending. And he is, I think in my mind, folks, got it all figured out. So as you're driving to the XL Energy Center and listening to us, or if you're at home listening, or you know a goaltender in your family, friends, or it could be your son, daughter, or you're a board member or a coach, this is going to be a discussion, I think, that's going to be very interesting and have a lot of impact on the position, which is a little bit, it's always been a little bit of a mystery. Wouldn't you agree? Welcome aboard, Larry. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks, Pete. Yeah, it's a huge mystery for everyone.
It is a huge mystery from the perspective of what is it? How does it work? You and I kind of come from the same background, where we had the great late Warren Strelo, who was very technical. And he had changed the position and how it was played. And obviously it's hybrided into this and that and the next thing. But there's a component that I think is the same. And you brought up a story about how when you were in high school, you didn't think about what you're eating, and now you are. So what you've got is more of an off-ice setup for what you do, as opposed to just, robotronic type of goaltending coaching. Can you talk a little bit about what you do and how you got to it?
Yeah, so what I do is I focus on everything off the ice. It can be anything from performance training, which most people would know as strength and conditioning, the mental part of the game, and just daily preparation. It could be for families who are on a limited budget and said, we want to give our child every opportunity to be a better goalie. How do we do this with this amount of money? So I deal with a wide range of things off the ice, and the whole goal of the program is to give every goalie an opportunity to be the best goalie that they can be, not be the best goalie. And so it's important for me to take everything as an individual and not just as the position of goalie.
So you talked about making them stronger, helping them become stronger, maybe not necessarily in every capacity. There's certain areas that you will focus on. So can you talk about, I think you said there's 3 components for what you do.
Yep. So it can be different for everyone. It could be the same for 2 goalies. If we're talking about maybe a high school goalie, they're looking more at the performance side of things combined with learning how to be a goalie. And what I mean by that is take away the game itself, but everything you do leading up to the game and how that's going to prepare you to perform. When we're talking about a younger goalie, maybe a squirt peewee goalie, we're working on building an athlete here. We're not worried about can they do the reverse VH, can they do a butterfly, how well do they push. I want to create a great athlete. I feel if I create a great athlete, the goaltending coach can then build a great goalie.
Let's go into the athlete part of it as you hone in on a great athlete. I don't want to give away your secret sauce,
Yep.
But what are some of the things, areas of the body that you focus on to create that great athlete?
It's a great question, and I look at it differently. I feel that creating a great athlete is using games at the youngest levels, not anything specific for goaltending or even the sport of hockey itself. Taking a young boy, young girl, and forcing them to be an athlete. And what I mean by that is I'll give you a simple example of what I do with some of my younger kids. And we play a game that I call goalie volleyball. And what I've done is I've taken a court, shrunk it down with cones, and we have a center line. We don't have a net or anything like that, and we use a kid's bouncy ball. And the whole object of the game is for the team of 2 to get the ball back and forth over the line using any body part. So they can use legs, feet, hands, head. And what I'm trying to do is force them not to think like a volleyball player, not to think like a soccer player, but think like an athlete and react to what is happening to the ball itself and working with your teammate.
What type of growth have you seen in young athletes? Because it's sometimes, and I've been in coaching environments where, God-given fast twitch muscles, there's things that work for people and others that don't. And some you just say, well, I don't know if we're going to get too much out of this one here, but we'll do the best we can. God bless him, great kid. But how much can you maximize out of athletes or goaltenders from various levels of tools that they give you?
The tools that they give me, I can take and maximize them by 100. If they're committed to it and they have a passion for it, they're going to get a ton out of this. Just like anything else in life, if you put some into it, you're going to get something out of it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every goalie that works with me is going to make it to the NHL, but I guarantee that any goalie that works with me will be a better goalie tomorrow than they were today. And that's all done by thinking of everyone as an individual and not a goalie.
What do you think goaltenders today's biggest need from an athleticism perspective is? Is it in their feet? Is it in their hips, hands? What is it?
That's a very interesting question. And I did recently just speak with a college goalie coach who had a really unique perspective on this, where he brought up, if we look at European goalies, they have great feet because they play soccer all the time over there. And if you look at American goalies or North American goalies, they've got great hands for the most part. And so when he talked about that, it really resonated with me that that's what I'm trying to do. I want complete athletes who use their hands, use their feet, use their brains, use their eyes. They're not robotic. The one thing I've heard from several goalie coaches from the NHL down to the youth level and everywhere in between is that goaltending has become too robotic. And they have a hard time with some goalies because they are so robotic, like a computer program, that they can't get out of it. And that's really the sole purpose of what I do, is developing an athlete who can then be a goalie that doesn't rely strictly on robotic movements.
Well, there's no such thing as a formula on a 3-on-2 that's changing and evolving in speed and tempo and pace and where they're going to go with it. I've watched goalies in practices, they square up and the thing's in and they're on their knees and they're looking around, they're looking at their shoulders, they're looking at their hands, and they're going, well, I did everything perfect. How did it go in? And but that's not what we're talking about here. And so it enhances the tools that the other goalie coaches are giving the players. And you talked a lot about diet too. Is that an area that you focus on?
Yeah, it's something that I speak to. It's one area that I want the goalie themselves to have the want. I can tell them everything and give them every trick in the book. I can refer them to professional dietitians who will break it down to the simplest and smallest little thing. But what I like to do is give them a platform that they can work off of and learn what they haven't been doing correctly and what they have been doing correctly, and how do we make these small changes. Because usually for kids these days, with all the information we have out there from the internet, they're on the right track. They just kind of need one piece here and one piece there. And the parents themselves are also asking questions for their own personal diet themselves. So when it becomes a family thing, it's great for everyone involved.
It's tough when it's an individualistic approach when it comes. It's got to be, everybody's got to be all in.
Yep.
I totally agree with you. So then in terms, you have a formula there. In terms of thinking like a goaltender, that really intrigued me when you brought that up in the beginning of our discussion here. I think today about how much better I would be in this day and age, having worked with these guys. You tell them everything to do what you didn't do. I mean, but it's how do you think like a goaltender, both on game day and on non-game day?
Yeah. So with the younger kids, you can kind of start that piece, but they're not ready to, take a full day and really prepare for a game. That piece really starts at the Bantam level, that 8th, 9th grade age range, where the games are competitive. Mistakes are that much smaller to make. And so it's really starting with, it's difficult for someone in school, maybe they're 7 to 3, 9 to 2, whatever it may be, to eat properly, or maybe just stay focused on what's important. And for some goalies that I've worked with, it's been as simple as, let's not think about hockey all day. Let's focus on school. And let's worry about hockey when hockey gets there once school is done. And for other goalies, it's, we need to start focusing the minute we wake up. And so that's where that individual approach comes into play. No two goalies are the same. You have a Martin Berder who has been known to talk to the media for, 50, 60 minutes after, practice, morning skate. And then you have Ed Belfour who wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yep.
And so you really have to learn and meet them as individuals. And I think that's the big piece. And, we had talked about Warren Strelo before, and I recently was talking to a scout who had talked to Warren Strelo back in the day shortly before he passed. And he asked him, you had 3 great goalies in San Jose who all went on to be number 1 goalies in the NHL. He said, how did you handle that? And Warren said, I got to know them as individuals, and I was their mentor, before I was their goalie coach. And they would come and visit me in the summer, and we'd spend a week or 2 together. And It wasn't so much about hockey as it was me learning about them and them learning about me. And when we created that bond, they all started to take off. And so, when I heard that, I thought that's exactly what I'm trying to do here, is be that mentor, be the coach, and give them the backbone to succeed. Because I think, and you probably would agree with this too, that back in our day, we did not get a whole lot of support as goalies. There was no one out there that we could talk to.
He and Jack McCartan, for me, were it.
Yep. And so I'm trying to bring that piece in. I mean, you can go and get great performance coaching from a lot of different facilities and a lot of different coaches in this state. But the difference with them and me is I was a goalie. I am a goalie. I know what it feels like, and I want to help every goalie overcome those battles, because we do face a lot of them.
So your business model doesn't know any age either, correct? You go from squirts up all the way up.
That is correct. Squirts to the pros.
And so from your to reach out to you, they can email you, correct?
Yeah, you can email me at optimalgoalie@gmail.com, or you can give me a call at 952-270-5490. And with today's technology, feel free to text me too.
Please text. That's it. And then you also, to work with youth programs is a great idea. Even if they have an existing goaltending guru or whatever, and a lot of these programs do, they can't do everything that you're suggesting here, and it's good for them to bring you in to work with them.
Yeah, so the difference between me and a goalie coach is a goalie coach focuses on the play on the ice, what to do in certain situations, how to move in and out of the net, up and down, all those great things. What I do is everything off the ice. For an association, it could be as simple as bringing me in to work with the parents to figure out, how do the parents feel? Do the parents feel like they're missing something? Is there a gap between the board and the association, and what can we do to fill that gap? High school program, it could be the same thing from that, or even setting up a year-round development program for the goalies off the ice.
That's beautiful. So we will get you absolutely exposed here during the high school hockey tournament.
Thank you.
You're a great man, making a big difference in the hockey world. Again, shoot that email and number for us.
Yeah, the email is optimalgoalie@gmail.com, and then the phone number is...
That's it for the second period, just a few moments away. 3-1 Delano with the lead over the Greenway Raiders. The Raiders, of course, who knocked out Hermantown, who had been to 9 straight tournaments. The first period, a very good one for the Delano Tigers, as they scored those 3 goals. They got the 2 goals about 20 seconds apart from Dunnigan and Karanen. And then they got the hard work goal from Peterson to answer the 1 tally from Greenway. The one who became off the stick of Jamander that brought the Raiders at the time to within 2-1.
Yeah, and the teams are skating around here, warming back up for the second period, getting their legs loose. And time for Greenway to play Raider hockey and just kind of get back to what they did well. They had a really good 5-6 minute stretch. We talked about where they carried play. They generated some offensive opportunities. That's the kind of hockey they want to be playing. And then shore up a few things in your own end. A couple of bad turnovers, a couple of just lackadaisical defensive zone coverages have then led to a couple of quick strike Delano goals. And it's 3-1, end of 1. And here we go to start period 2.
Once again, along with Nate Olson, John Sands up in our broadcast booth, I'm Patrick Lilia, finishing out today's quarterfinal quartet. Everything started off this morning with North Branch taking on the St. Cloud Cathedral Crusaders. The Crusaders rolling to a 7-0 win in that game with a 5-goal second period, and then East Grand Forks defeating Minnesota River 5-2. As right away here in the second period, Delano drives it down into the Greenway zone. 11 offensive zone face-off for the Tigers. Of course, in the game right before this one, number 1 seed Matomidi pretty much rolling unchallenged all over New Ulm, 6-0, the final score in that game. 11 even in the shots on goal department. As John was pointing out at the end of the first intermission, as we'll get a centering feed that's blocked down to the near side. I was going to point out that shots on goal numbers changed a little bit as over the course of that first intermission. As it's back down in the Raiders zone once again along the near side as the Raiders poke it back out to neutral. Battle ensues along the near side boards as Raiders come out with it in their own zone with Lance. Lance will try to get this one through the neutral zone, getting tripped up as he gained the blue line. No penalties assessed for that one. It was number 7 for the Raiders. That was Tristan Birdsall who went to the ice. The Raiders gain the offensive zone anyway. There's a shot that'll be saved by Cruz. Kick to the back wall. As Delano able to get it back out to the neutral zone. 16 minutes to go in the second period. 3-1 in favor of the Delano Tigers. As Greenway sets up, they work their way back through the neutral zone. Lawson on the far side. Lawson trying to center it as it pops up in front of the goaltender Cruz. It works its way down to the near side corner. We played around back to the far side corner. Still in the Greenway offense. And center field, they score! And Greenway gets back to within 1 goal once again. It's going to be Dante Lawson on the redirect. And Dante Lawson, for all the things that he has been through recently, as he played that double overtime game while his brother was receiving a kidney transplant. He scored the game winner in that game. So had a heartwarming story of some Hermantown fans who donated their tickets to the Lawson family.
That was just a really, really good tip there, and a beautiful feed in front by Nikolai Ralaja. He just got the puck on the wall. Lawson had his stick on the ice. Beautiful redirect. He was on right in front of the goaltender, Aaron Cruz, and just tipped it to his left, right behind and inside the pipe. Makes it 3-2 very early here in this second period. And here we go, Pat. This is the game we've been waiting for all night. Now we've got some real hockey, and it's back and forth. And just like I said, the tight checking defensive battle we expect might end up 7-6, and we're well on our way there as it stands now.
As the puck was driven down into the Delano zone, and another offensive zone faceoff coming for the Raiders. 15:23 to go, second period, 3-2, Delano with the lead. The only time today that the two teams were within 1 goal other than 0-0 was when it was 3-2 in that East Grand Forks, Minnesota River game. Then Landon Parker took over for the Green Wave in the third period of that one, and he put that one away single-handedly. The Raiders maintain the offensive zone. This one nicely poked away and sent back the other direction by Trombley. Then Trombley for the Greenway. He'll poke it down to the near side. And I talked about it once. You have the Green Wave and Greenway in the same tournament. It'll especially be confusing if somehow they end up playing each other later on in a few days.
Yeah, they both wear green helmets and green pants. So.
That could be fun and interesting. We'll have to see how these matchups shake out as play continues down in the Greenway offensive zone. There's a shot from the point, redirected just wide. As Lawson had worked his way in front once again. This one banked off the end board, will go off the back of the net. The Greenway will play it around to the near side. As Delano able to clear it out, and they'll go for an icing and an offensive zone faceoff coming for the Raiders. 14:19 to go, second period, 3-2, Delano with the lead.
Yeah, very clear that Greenway's adjusted to saying that they wanted to get their defensemen involved. They've involved them a number of times by getting that puck high. And what they're doing is actually getting those pucks to the D-men to then put on the net or near the net. And so we've seen a handful of tips. That's how that second Greenway goal went in. And a little bit of adjustment there, getting the defensemen involved, stretching out the offensive zone a little bit.
Delano trying to work their way through the neutral zone. As whiffing on that one was Daly as he gained the blue line for the Tigers as he comes back around to the near side. There's a shot that's blocked. It'll work its way up to the far side boards. As Joseph Blanchard with a couple good scoring opportunities in that first period plays it back around to the near side. Held in at the point by the Tigers. It'll work its way through the circle. Out front, there's a shot that's blocked. Second chance whiffed on by the Tigers, and the Raiders bring it back the other way. The Raiders through neutral ice into the offensive zone is getting tied up as he gained toward the corner area.
Raiders fans wanted a trip, and I actually agree with him. I think he kind of had a step on that D-man. He turned and twisted his body and kind of stuck his left leg out a little bit. It sort of looked like a hip check, and so maybe from the official's point of view, that's what he saw. But definitely looked like a trip to me, but regardless, we play on.
As Blanchard took a long shot that had to be saved by Wright rather. Loose down in the near side circle, down in the Greenway zone. Then slipped all the way down for an icing and a face-off back in the Greenway zone. 13:04 to go in the second period. 3-2, Delano with the lead.
Yeah, and I think early on we've seen Greenway's adjustments here. Haven't given up a shot yet this period, and as we mentioned, getting the defensemen involved and taking a little bit of pressure off of their goaltender Logan Wright by just keeping the puck out of their own end of the ice. The the best D zone's a great forecheck, and so if the puck's not in your own end, pretty tough to defend that end if the puck's not there. So Greenway, like where their game's at, like how they're moving the puck, and they're really cycling it from side to side, corner to corner in the zone. As we mentioned, it's very evident that the game plan coming out of that first intermission was to start stretching the zone, which includes using those defensemen, cycling the puck, using what we call the push pass, right? So from one corner to the other, they're pushing the puck to change the motion of the ice and to change the flow of what things got going in the direction of the offensive zone. And so far, only 4 minutes into this second period, they've done an excellent job.
We're in our TV timeout here in the early stages of the second period, 13:04 to go. So Delano got off to that 2-goal advantage, then Greenway answered before Delano added another one. Now Greenway has answered again to get it back within one. We have an offensive zone face-off for Delano coming out of the TV timeout.
Unsurprisingly, the next goal is a very, very important one. Greenway gets it, it's tied 3-3, and then you look at it and say, man, all the momentum's on their side. They've scored a couple in a row. They've already carried a lot of the play here early in this period, but if Delano gets it, you start to wonder if you're Greenway, man, are we just going to have to keep popping back and bouncing back and forth to a 1-goal lead, then giving it up? And so a huge goal here.
There's a shot that's saved as Karanen had worked his way free in the circle off the faceoff, and Delano's actually done very well off the faceoff shots. If there's another shot from the slot that was saved, it's loose out front still. Second chance, there's a shot. That one's blocked out front as well. Delano with a multitude of great looks here on this sequence, and they'll maintain the offensive zone. As here's a shot from the slot that'll go wide. It'll come back around to the near side. Now sent back out to neutral ice. Here come the Raiders into the offensive zone. Lawson trying to work his way through. Poking that one away with authority was Aaron Cruz. Tigers trying to clear it out. It's still loose in the Delano zone, and now sent back out through neutral ice. But Greenway collects there. They'll dump it down in deep. They will change. A couple of skaters. 12:10 to go second period. 3-2, Delano with the lead. The Tigers able to force it back out to neutral ice, but Greenway there to collect it. Play this one back down into the Delano zone on the near side. Now there's a centering feed that's blocked as Trombley had worked his way around the net.
Starting to finally hear Trombley's name. A little quiet in the first period, the St. Cloud State commit, but really starting to pick his game up here in the second.
Delano with this one taken away from them almost in their defensive zone, and here they come the other way. They dump this one down and deep with Corey Dunnigan. Dunnigan, who had the first goal of the game for the Tigers. It's loose in the circle on the far side with the Raiders going from left to right here in the second period. Delano going from right to left as it's iced by the Raiders. We'll have a face-off back at the left end of the ice with 11:19 to go in the second period.
Yeah, Rahl took quite the hit there. He looked a little shaken up, and I don't know if he was trying to draw a penalty or what. It looked like a fairly clean play, but a very hard hit he took in the offensive zone, but looks to be okay, and he stays out on the ice there. And unless it's the head or something's broken, I don't know that you're coming out of a state tournament game.
Absolutely. It's drop the puck here in the face-off. It'll be to the right of right. No pun intended on this one. Played down into the corner off the face-off. Tigers kick it back to the point, and then it sneaks out back into the neutral zone. Tigers throw this one back up into the far side corner. The Raiders will play it behind their own net as Lance plays it up to the far side. Here come the Raiders out into the neutral zone. They'll gain the offensive zone with Vekic. Vekic will play it behind the net, where Delano will try to send it back the other direction. Vekic in a puck battle down there as it's picked up by the Raiders. Kicked back out to the point in front of the Delano bench. Went out for a blast, and that one might have gotten through to the goaltender. Cruz on that one, who makes a save. It comes down to the near side corner. The battle continues on those near side boards as the Raiders trying to come out with it. And they'll get it back to the point, maintain the offensive zone. They'll play it around the net once again. It'll be out of the reach of Birdsall. It'll get to the far side. Turnaround shot. That might have been blocked out front. The puck eventually poked down to the near side. 10:20 to go in the second period. 3-2, Delano with the lead as the Tigers able to clear on this one. The Raiders back to pick it up in their own zone as Ellich turns it back up ice. Raiders will throw this one up onto the far side in front of the bench. They tried to poke it ahead off for Birdsall, but it was taken away, and here come the Tigers the other way. That centering feed, a nice job by the Raiders to break that one up. Here come the Raiders back into the offensive zone. Oh, what a move! Oh, just pushed wide on the backhand.
That's Lawson, of
Lawson,
course.
of course. Wow, what a move he made. Did everything except bury the puck in the back of the net. But there's a shot that'll go. That will be saved by the goaltender. There's a shot again saved by Cruz on the second attempt.
Little fire wagon hockey here. We get a little back and forth, some transition hockey, a couple great chances on both ends of the ice. And we're going to circle back to that Lawson opportunity. He picked the puck up on the far side of the ice right in front of the Raiders bench, made one little stick handle with speed to cross the defenseman's face and did it just quick enough so that he got himself some open space, and he just missed it wide to the low blocker side of Aaron Cruz. And it's 3-2, but very easily could have been 3-3 there. An excellent move and a nice job, and did it off of a transition after a great Delano chance on the rush too. So fun hockey game here as it's starting to open up a little bit in the second period with 9:31 to go.
Oh, the second period has really been something. That first period was, great as well, but the second period, I think, it's kind of kicked it up a notch, and we've only really had the one goal, which was by Greenway here in the second period. We're still in the middle of the TV timeout, 9:31 to play here in the second period.
Yeah, shots on goal now are 16-13 in favor of the Raiders. And pretty much all of the shots on goal in this period have been high-quality opportunities. It's been a fun period of hockey between two excellent hockey teams here, and both teams extremely well coached. You can just see it. Everything, all the simple little things are done extremely well, and you can tell the kids, A, pay attention to detail, and B, the coaches hold them to a high standard to make sure that they're doing just those things. And fun to see when teams play like this. This is the game we were hoping for, and let's hope it continues.
Lawson able to win the face-off, not the shot, second chance! Swept out of there by Delano, but held in by the Raiders. Now down in the near side corner. As Delano possesses it now in their own zone, trying to clear it out, and they will get it out to neutral as the Raiders touch up. Well, the Tigers able to get this one ahead into the offensive zone. They'll send this one in on goal, but steered aside with the stick by the goaltender right, and here come the Raiders the other way. 3-on-2 if they hurry into the offensive zone with a shot. They score! What a centering feed, and this game is tied at 3.
I mean, that came from in front of the Greenway students, and I think that was 2 feet off the boards, and he went far to the back door, and burying that one is Ben Trombley, who did we say we needed to hear a little bit more from? The St. Cloud State commit himself. What a pass. Man, that was a phenomenal pass and an excellent finish. And just like that, this hockey game is tied. And a beautiful feed. That was Lawson on the feed now. It's tough to see. He's got the back of his jersey tucked in, so bear with us, folks. But that's a number 13. What a feed. That was just pretty. And that's one you better look up on the Twitter machine. You better take a peek at that one. Ben Trombley, 16th goal of the season at the 8:05 mark. What a play. Great execution on a 2-on-1 and tie ball game.
As this game is tied at 3, 8:45 to go, second period. Ben Trombley with his 16th goal of the season that notched this one up at 3, and Greenway has come all the way back. It was 2-0, it was 3-1, and they have tied it up, and they're looking for more, but losing control of the puck are the Raiders, able to hold the offensive zone. There's a shot, that's a rebound, second chance, and Cruz able to save that one as well. It comes down to the near side corner. That was Birdsall in there for that opportunity. Centering feed comes back out high in the zone. There's a shot that's blocked out front. Second chance pushed in on Cruz, and he'll have to hold on. Man, what a second period we have had.
Yeah, high flying, lots of energy, good scoring chances. The crowd's electric and into it. A huge save there by Kraus. I mean, you can't ask for a whole lot more. We tie ball games, halfway through it. Fun atmosphere at the X, and the Greenway faithful are feeling it now. They're getting loud. The students loud and proud, getting the rest of the fans on their feet. And a cool moment here for the Greenway Raiders.
After 18 years away, the Raiders are back, and we've got the best game of the day, as, well, just about everybody predicted. No disrespect to any of the other three teams earlier who had difficult endings to their season, but most people looked at the games on the schedule and said that's the one, and we've got it. We've got a tie game a little over midway through the second period, and we have had a absolutely entertaining second period to boot. As Delano forces this one up into their bench, and they'll have a neutral zone face-off, 7:25 to go in the second period.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about this game is we have not seen a penalty call, which just is a sign of two disciplined teams doing a really good job pushing each other up and down the ice. And the ice tilted a little bit in the favor of the Greenway Raiders right now. It is 3-3, but the shots on goal now 22-14, and can kind of see that they've gotten their footing and under them. And
as Delano pushes the faceoff back into the Greenway zone, and the Raiders able to control it there, they'll get it back out to neutral. We played around to the near side corner. The Raiders trying to push this one along the far side boards. The kick back out to the point. The Tigers take possession, winding up for a shot. Thinking about it was Karanen. Karanen, though, will play it up into the far side corner. On the far side boards, the Tigers looking to cycle it through. They'll bring it around their net, kick it back out to the point. Able to hold the zone is Karanen. A shot that'll go wide. That's way back up to the far side boards. Now comes back around to the near side. The Raiders bring it back out to neutral. They'll play this one up to the far side into the offensive zone. There's a shot snagged with the glove by Cruz as it works its way back around all the way around to the near side into the Greenway Raider zone. 6:27 to go here in the second period of a wildly entertaining 3-3 game. As the Tigers play this one around to the near side. A battle ensues there. Tigers looking to hold the zone. They can't quite do it. They'll just dump it down in deep. It'll work its way up into the corner once again. It's taken away by the Tigers. And the centering feed just tipped wide.
Greenway's playing way too well to be turning pucks over right in the middle of their own zone.
Centering feed, and then whiffing on it on the back door was Delano as the Raiders able to clear it out, and it'll be an icing.
Big shift there for the Tigers as they were able to get some sustained pressure in the O zone. All started, as we mentioned, by a turnover by the Raiders in their own end of the ice. Turnovers are bad no matter where they are unless you're at the bakery, but I tell you what, you cannot have them in your own end, and you cannot have them at either blue line, and that was a tough one there, and Delano did a good job. Tip shot just went wide, or this could have been a 4-3 hockey game in front of the Tigers, but instead, with 5:49 left here in this second period, it is 3 for the Delano Tigers and 3 for the Greenway Raiders. Shots on goal, 22-14 in favor of Greenway. We are at our 6-minute TV timeout.
Probably shouldn't have looked up at the TV because they had a pizza ad on. We've talked a bunch of times today about having trouble finding some. I mean, there was food available. It just didn't quite fall into the cards to get to actually eat anything since I've been here since about 9 o'clock this morning. Something on the way down, but
yeah, these are fun days. They're long days. Sacrifice here and there, but well worth the opportunity to bring you guys the greatest high school hockey tournament in the country and in the world to you, creating hopefully a great picture, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We appreciate you listening here on mnhockey.tv, and can't believe we're on the 75th Boys State Hockey Tournament here, 1945 to 2019. Heck of a run, and it just continues to get better and better, and it continues to have the hockey improve. We continue to see new communities come here for the first time. It's a special deal.
As Delano controls the faceoff, just want to quick say hello to Jane Morrow. Not sure if anyone's ever had the chance to Just say hello to thank you for tuning in here on our MN Hockey TV broadcast all season long. That's Jane Morrow. Glad to see your name in the chat once again on the MN Hockey YouTube feed as Delano drives in for a shot on goal. Of course, thanks to all of you tuning in once again here in the broadcast booth. John Sands to my left, Nate Olson to my right. I'm Patrick Lilia. We've got the head honcho, Pete Wagoner, sitting below us. He's kind of working on some other things right now.
He's keeping himself out of trouble, right?
Not sure about that, but it's off the face-off. It's cleared out by Greenway. It will be held in by Delano, actually. It'll work its way around to the end boards where the Raiders will possess it there. Long pass into the offensive zone come the Raiders. They'll bring it down to the near side, trying to chip it up ahead toward Trombley, who has the tying goal just a moment ago. They'll play it behind the Tiger net. The Tigers back the other way. Through the neutral zone, they'll chip this one down in deep to the Raiders zone, down to the near side corner. Battle ensues in that near side corner. We're under 5 minutes to go here in the second period. As it ends up on the far side boards now with the Raiders able to flip it out into the neutral zone. Here's Trombley in. Trombley, though, forced to push his way up under the corner. That was a good job by Jack Karen in to cut off his pass to the net.
A couple of nice, nifty moves there, one-on-one. Always encouraged to try and do something with the puck when you're one-on-one. You definitely don't want to dump it unless you're going to win that race, but good time to be creative if you're going to be one-on-one. A lot of young guys like to think that they need to be stick handling or need to be so creative. They see it on TV, Patrick Kane or whoever you want to see, the old Pavel Datsyuk type player, and you know, that's okay. We don't need to be those guys. Let's just be Johnny or Jim or whoever you are and stay simple and move your feet and use your speed. That's the number one thing that I feel like high school kids struggle with at times is, you know, if you just move your feet and drive hard wide to the net, a lot of times good things are going to happen. It doesn't need to be this pretty tic-tac-toe or dangle move here or there. It's just stay simple. Hockey's such a simple game, and we struggle when we overcomplicate it.
The center ice face-off, a couple of center ice face-offs actually, as Blanchard had blasted one high up into the netting a moment ago, and then off that center ice face-off, there was a puck up into the bench, as now play moves quickly back into the Delano zone, and the Raiders had a shot on goal just a moment ago. It's blocked down to the near side corner. Still in the Delano zone. The Tigers get it back out to neutral. It'll chip its way all the way back into the Greenway zone as we're under 4 minutes to go as an icing is called here. 3:55 to go in the second period.
Shots on goal now are 23 to 15 in favor of the Raiders, so only been one shot apiece here in the last 4 or 5 minutes, but pace of play has continued to stay quick and fast and continue to go end to end here with a few different rushes and sustained offensive zone pressures.
Got the face-off. Lawson with a shot. That one was saved by Cruz as the Tigers able to sweep this one all the way down. And the Raiders will have to play it from deep in their own end. 3:45 to go here in the second period. 3-3 tie game. 3 goals here in the second period. 1 by the Tigers, 2 by the Raiders. Working his way in and then whiffing on the shot as Cruz trying to dive on it. That was Lawson, I think, who had worked his way in, but just kind of whiffed on that shot attempt as he'd worked his way into the middle from the slot. And we'll have an offensive zone face-off for the Raiders. 3:28 to go in the second period.
Yeah, Trombley did fan on that shot. And Cruz decided he was going to take charge and be assertive and go out and cover that puck and keep it out of harm's way there, which I think he did successfully. And going to face off, as you mentioned, 3:28 to go to his right.
Greenway able to throw the face-off, centering feed, whacking away at it in front of Cruz. He's down, and now play is stopped.
Oh, another fantastic play. That puck was in the corner right in front of the Greenway section of students and their band and thrown right on top of the crease. A quick redirection, but Cruz there to make the stop this time. Not going to get that redirection across like the second goal of the game for Greenway, but
Delano able to control the face-off to carry it around their net. They'll be forced to play it from behind their cage now as it'll be banked out into the neutral zone by Tommy Peterson. As Greenway able to send it right back deep into the Tigers zone. Tigers looking to set up from deep in their own zone as almost a turnover, and the Greenway offensive zone, and now there it is taken away by the Raiders as a long pass through the high part of the zone ends up in the corner. Now it works its way around the net, back around to the near side. It's a Greenway turnaround shot, and that one just goes wide as a little bit slow to get up after that one was the Greenway player who took that shot. We've had kind of talked about those jerseys sometimes really get tucked into those pants, so it's a little bit tough to identify the numbers from up here as this one sent up into the Greenway bench by the Tigers, and will have his face-off. 2:30 to go in the second period.
Yeah, and I do think that was actually Dante Lawson. It looked like he hunched over a Tad coming to the bench, and he took his helmet off, and I think he's going to be attended to here by a trainer. Hopefully it's not a head issue. It does not look to be. Not worth anything. I know it seems like a big moment, a big spot, but if you got a head injury, you got to get out. Way too important. Life's way bigger in a hockey game, even if it's on the big stage here.
A couple of chances now at both ends as Christian Miller sent a shot in that was saved by Cruz a moment ago, and then the Tigers able to drive the length of the ice, and then a shot sent up into the netting off of right, so we'll have an offensive zone face-off for Delano with 2:17 to go here in the second period.
Big last couple minutes here, and important couple minutes, especially for Delano. They got to keep the puck out of their own net one more time here, and it'd be huge if somebody could get a goal in this last 2 minutes and really set the tone for the third.
It's Vekic for Greenway trying to get it out. He will get it out to the neutral zone as he gets it down to center of the ice where Rajala was trying to gain control of it, winding up for a shot, and that's deflected. That might have gotten through to the goaltender Cruz as it works its way around the Delano net down to the near side. As Vekic trying to force another mistake in the Delano zone as the Tigers dump it in deep to the Greenway zone. 1:45 to go. We got a wholesale change that was pretty much, I think, 8 or 9 skaters for both teams. As it's played around the Delano net down in the Tiger zone. Now the Tigers able to play this one through back into the Greenway zone. 1:30 to go in the period as the Raiders circle their net up to the far side, get it back out to neutral. Here they come into the offensive zone once again with Rajala. Rajala trying to center it and hit a couple of Delano skates and sticks as the Tigers recover. They bring it through neutral ice back into the offensive zone. The centering feed, though, slides all the way up into the far side corner. 1:07 to go as Greenway sets up. They get it back out into the neutral zone. The Tigers now with it high in their own zone as they push it back out to neutral ice. And then Greenway will set up. They'll bank it off the far side boards, work their way back out to neutral as the Tigers will possess now in their own zone. Tigers play it back out through neutral ice, where Trombley will set up for the Raiders into the offensive zone, winding up for a shot that'll go high over the top of the net. With Germander, who has the first goal of the game for the Raiders in this one that made it a 2-1 game at the time. As the Tigers able to send a puck in deep on the goaltender right. 27 seconds to go here in the second period. Played back around to the far side. The Raiders trying to get it back out to neutral and now poked back into the Raiders back into the offensive zone once again. There's a shot that's saved by Cruz. Able to maintain possession off the rebound, though. It's loose in front, and Cruz able to poke it back out of there. Play is stopped. I think the net came a little bit loose. 4.3 to go in the period.
Yeah, the officials pointing at the face-off dot saying that the face-off's going to stay inside the zone. So, yes, he did call that the net off. And actually, that puck, after the initial save by Cruz, came back out to the point after the whistle blew. And it was simultaneous, so no ill will there. But another save by Cruz on a tip, an excellent save, really. And won't go down in the stat book as a save, but that was a very nice save. And shows he's still in control and still right on top of his game despite giving up 3 goals. The first 3 goals he's given up in the last 4 games.
Greenway controls the face-off. 2 seconds to go. Wind up for a blast. It's tipped out in front as it'll work its way wide of the net as the second period comes to an end. And what a second period that was, as Delano and Greenway just trading goals. Delano scored 1, Greenway scored 2 to take this one to the second intermission in a game tied at 3. You're watching MNHockey.tv coverage of the State quarterfinals, Class A, second intermission from the XL Energy Center, 3-3 Delano and Greenway.
Hockey continues right here at the mnhockey.tv. It's a state tournament at its finest, and we're happy to bring in the architect, one of the guys that has a lot to do with putting this together. Brad Berrickman is the Vice President of Community with RJM Construction out of Golden Valley, and they've done a lot of these beautiful structures that we see that our kids get to play in, that we get to participate in as adults and play the great game of hockey. And Brad and his company are also partners with the Herb Brooks Foundation, which is a big reason why we're here today. So, Brad, without further ado, thanks a lot for joining us here between periods.
Happy to be here, Pete.
So I love this topic because I was intimately involved in a specific build-out of a building at the Hopkins Pavilion. I've utilized the rock at the St. Louis Park Rec Center. Those are two of your more recent jobs that I've been a part of, and you guys continue to churn them out. Can you tell us a little bit about how your firm got involved in the hockey arena space?
So it really started with the founders of the business, Bob Josart and Joe Maddie. And the very first ice arena project that we ever did down in Phoenix, Arizona, as well as Plymouth, Minnesota. We kind of got that niche on those first two projects, and then gained a knowledge base there that expanded here today.
What have you found in terms of municipalities, whether it's cities, not many privately owned rinks here? As far as their needs and what they need, obviously there's a budget constraint, but you have to make money too to keep your doors open. How have you been able to work with the municipalities, and have you found that to be an easy process?
It's definitely an easy process, and what we've found over the years is they're building facilities that are 50-plus year facilities. So they're really building for the longevity and the operational efficiency. Really enjoy working with the cities and building them something that will last into the future.
Can we talk a little bit structurally about the rock? Do you care if we go there for a second?
I wasn't directly involved.
Okay, we'll not use that. Let me pause for a second so I can see the break. Let me see something here. Are these her notes for you or
Yeah.
not? Can I see those real
Yeah.
quick? I should have printed them out. We're cool. So in terms of what you guys do to put together projects, there's a lot of details that go into play. I mean, it goes from refrigeration to structures to, I'm sure there's a lot of code that you got to meet as far as what has to be done. How deep into this do you have to go as an organization to make sure everything is right as you build?
So our experience, like I say, our refrigeration partners can build ice anywhere. Our job is to give them a building envelope that basically encapsulates that whole thing. Important factors, I think, goes without saying, the insulation of the structure itself. So we work with our design partners to come up with the most efficient insulation systems to house these ice boxes, as well as dehumidification units is one of the more critical components within the facility as well.
Do you find are there different needs in the dehumidification from facility to facility? Some are renos, right, renovations, and some are build-outs. What I think, to me, just being a novice, that would be a heck of a challenge, especially with our summers.
For sure. I mean, when you're dealing with an existing building structure, you have to take that into account. Building envelopes constructed in the 60s and 70s didn't have the technology that we have out there today. So you can really run into condensation issues and things like that if the building envelope isn't technically up to code.
So when you guys take on a project, it's usually probably a bid. I'm sure that's how it works in the industry, correct?
Typically when we're working with the municipalities, we act as the construction manager. So we're involved in the process from basically the onset. We work along with our design partners, and I say that the clients get their best value with the involvement of a builder such as RJM Construction early on during the design, to have our input on cost and technology side up front during the design. I guess over time, with our involvement during the pre-construction, you can save a significant amount of money during the design.
Let's talk a little bit about the Tria rink that you guys worked on. I mean, It's an incredible vibe in there. Now, when you did that, did you start on the roof, or was that in the building? Can you kind of walk us through that project?
So there was interior demolition that occurred early on, but they basically built the rink facility on top of that parking structure. One of the cooler features of that project was we actually had to lift a crane on top of the roof with another crane to start erecting that facility. So that was pretty incredible means and methods. Something we're really proud of.
How delicate was that? I mean, so not only are you lifting a crane with the crane, but you're on top of the demo with the crane, and you don't want to see the structure come down.
A lot of engineering involved and a lot of pre-planning meetings and coordination with the city to block off the streets and things like that.
So then you've got the big window that is on what I believe is that kind of the southwest side of the building, something like that. And there's the tinted glass that can be controlled. Was that something that you guys were a part of? And if so, how did that all come about?
So we were involved in the pricing aspect of that during the design. Value is always at the forefront during the design and engineering, and we were definitely involved in cost solutions for that.
The locker rooms that you did at the Hopkins Pavilion, the greatest part about that project was every high school team that went in there just hated going in there because you could fit about 3 guys per room. They're so small. And then they're just massive. You could almost fit a varsity and JV team in some of those new locker rooms. Is that kind of a trend that you guys are seeing, is to get more space for locker rooms for everybody?
So there is a lot of thought put into the size of the locker rooms. As a hockey parent myself, I understand what it's like to get your kids dressed. I have a first-year mite in some of the tiny locker rooms in some of the older facilities. So that's definitely front and center of my mind, as well as our design partners.
And then in terms of other things that you're seeing, so if there were structures that were built, let's say, when I think of like the larger facilities that were maybe built in the mid-'90s and how they've evolved to today and how things have changed, has there been a going trend that you've noticed as far as some of the upgrades and features that you guys are putting into rinks right now today?
Definitely on the refrigeration systems and just the building envelope technology that's out there today. Is significantly better than it was 25 years ago. So there's a lot of thought and consideration that goes into the building envelope that houses these facilities. And another common trend that I'm seeing, a lot of the facilities that we built the initial sheet of ice for, they're adding second sheets. And it seems like some of the larger communities are all starting to add second sheets of ice and finding that benefit in their programming. 2
more questions for you here as we're rolling through the period break. To me, I would call it 3/4 outdoor rink. It's like a 3/4 indoor rink. The covered rink kind of was a trend for a little bit there. And you guys were able to really get something quite creative and look and feel for the St. Louis Park Rec Center. Can you talk about the processing that went into that and what you guys were thinking as far as vibe you were trying to pull off there? So that was kind of I guess what I would call a centerpiece or a focal point of that facility. Something that captures kind of the old school hockey feel with the wood purlins and some of the older arenas, but yet something that's kind of nostalgic in the new outdoor games that you see in the NHL and college hockey as well. So trying to capture that all into one piece. It's incredibly well done, and what it lends to is some really incredible acoustics too. So when you watch a game, you get some really good sounds out of that. It's super cool. But the first thing, it's funny you say that I thought of, when I look at that roof in that building, I think of the old Minnetonka Ice Arena where they painted it up. It's too bad. But do you remember that when it was all wood? I do. I played in that as a peewee. Growing up in a hockey tournament, and that's the first thing that I thought of when I saw that completed as well. So it wasn't just me. No. Yeah, that's really good. And finally, as Vice President of Community, obviously the Herb Brooks Foundation is a terrific vehicle that everybody is well aware of. That's really keeping the game flowing alive and creating opportunities for everybody to be able to play the game. Can you talk about your relationship with Herb Brooks Foundation? We are very proud to be a part of the Herb Brooks Foundation. Have been for all the time that I've been here at RJM, and definitely proud to be a part of that. Brad, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Pete. We'll be back with more right after this. Griffith, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Robert Thomas Homes. Carol, thanks for joining us between periods here today.
Yes, thank you very much.
So let's start from the very beginning. We've all heard of Robert Thomas Homes, but really, who is Robert Thomas Homes?
Well, Robert Thomas Homes is a locally owned semi-custom home builder. We're based in Lakeville, and as a part of the Tradition Corporation. We build homes from the 400,000 to up to 1 million in communities throughout the Twin City metro area. Many of our communities that we're building in right now, Spirit of Branch and Farm in Lakeville, the Harvest in Chaska, Village Preserve Lake Elmo, St. Michael, Creekside Hills in Plymouth, and 21 Oaks in Woodbury.
Well, our viewers can obviously see the incredible drone footage of your Lakeville properties that Robert Thomas Homes have put together. That is an absolute gorgeous. That's got to be a crown jewel of some of the things you've done.
Yes, I expect that this is the Spirit of Branch and Farm, and Spirit of Branch and Farm is a very, very special community. We've been the top-selling community in the Twin Cities for the past 3 years. And there's a wide variety of architectural designs and homes that we offer in addition to miles of parks, a phenomenal community center, and pools. There's just so many great things that neighborhood has to offer.
So let's talk about your target market then. Who do you find is your typical target market for your homes?
We really build in, I'd say, 4 varied collections is what we offer. One collection that's been very popular right now is our cottage or villa collection. It's a single level of association maintained design, and they have a tendency to appeal to that empty nester. Those homes are priced probably from the $400 to about $450 or $550. We build those in Lakeville, as well as we'll have Enclave in Plymouth opening very soon. Another collection that's been popular is our cottage or village collection, which is 2 stories, 1,900 to 3,000 square feet. They seem to be appealing to that first-time buyer. They're priced in the 3s to 5s. We have 2 more, a heritage collection, which is a 2-story, more of a move-up product line, ranging again from 2,600 to 3,400 square feet, and those are priced in the 400 to upper 5s. We offer that product line basically throughout the Twin Cities. And then the Tradition Collection is our larger semi-custom homes that range from anywhere from 2,800 to 6,000 square feet. You'll find features like indoor sport courts, really deluxe baths, bonus rooms, some really nice features. And those homes start in the 500s and build over $1 million.
So the building industry had a big awards gala last month, and you came home with quite a few trophies. It was a successful run. Can you talk on that a little bit?
Sure. It was a record for us.
Wow.
And, from what we understand at the Builders Association of the Twin Cities, the Builders Association of the Twin Cities offers the Reggie Award, which is similar to maybe the movie Oscars. And Robert Thomas was fortunate to win 6 Reggie Awards out of 16 categories. So that was quite a big night for us and a lot of fun.
And then finally, what advice would you give to people who are looking to build a home right now?
Right now, it's an outstanding time to buy. Interest rates are incredibly low. And I think people are surprised when they find out how affordable homes can be. First, I usually tell people, do your research online. Do some research so you can find.
Everybody, welcome back inside the XL Energy Center as we're about to get the third period underway between Greenway and Delano, a game that is tied at 3 and has had multiple twists and turns in terms of momentum and action. Well, Nate, how do you size this one up thus far? There's a lot to digest.
Yeah, it's kind of been a game of ebbs and flows. You've had some consistent play out of Delano that's really sustained pressure in the offensive end of the ice, and then I think you can say the exact same for Greenway. And Greenway scored the last 2 goals of this hockey game, but Delano got out of that second period with the score tied, and shots on goal are 28-17 in favor of the Raiders, and not really an indicator, I guess, of how this game's gone. I'd say it's far more an indication of the score being a tie game, very close, very tight game. It's opened up from time to time, and then teams have done a good job getting back together and and tightening up in their own end once that got a little loosey-goosey and a little bit of end-to-end type of hockey. So I'm going to be interested to see here how these two teams respond to the, hey, this next goal's a big one. This next goal's a big one here in the third period.
As the third period underway, and Greenway able to drive it down deep into the Tiger zone. The Tigers able to flip it back out to neutral ice. Tigers will generate an offensive zone opportunity. What a shot on the trailer as it goes wide. That was a great effort there by Delano, as that was Dunnigan, who had worked his way free in the slot. Delano working that rush very well, but Dunnigan's shot goes wide. And now here's Greenway back into the offensive zone once again. Getting tied up down in that near side corner as it pops free, and the Tigers with Dunnigan able to control it. Kick it up to the far side boards. Now throw it back out toward neutral ice. Now the Tigers able to poke it down in deep. And Wright will just gather it in with his stick, and we'll have an offensive zone face-off for Delano. 16:08 to go in the final period of regulation.
Yeah, face-offs have been important here this evening, and through 2 periods of play, Greenway with the edge, 25 wins to 18 losses, obviously on the converse side for Delano. And Tristan Birdsall, number 7 for Greenway, 13-5 in the face-off. That excellent number, and the guy that you're picking if you need to win a draw there. And Corey Dunnigan, 7 of 14. He's taken 21 draws tonight. Probably wants that number a little bit higher, but excellent player nonetheless.
As Delano trying to maintain the offensive zone pressure, as they will end up losing control of it, and Delano now back out at neutral ice. Will try to drive this one back in deep. 15:47 to go in regulation, a 3-3 tie game. Delano on the near side with it, while losing control of the puck as Lawson able to poke it ahead for the Raiders, and into the offensive zone they come. Trombley trying to fight his way through a couple of orange and black jerseys as he tries to center it for Lawson. Will end up on the far side. There's a shot through traffic that'll be sent up out of play, and we'll have a face-off with 15:29 to go here in the final period.
Yeah, the face-off's going to come to the left of Aaron Kraus. You mentioned 15:29 remaining here, and as this time keeps ticking, these guys are going to start to think and understand the importance of the next goal more and more.
Greenway off the face-off plays it behind the Tiger net. Tigers, though, take possession in the near side circle. Tigers going from left to right here in the final period. The Tigers able to dump this one down in deep on the right end, with Greenway going from right to left. As Greenway takes it back now behind their own net, they bring it around to the near side. This one able to be held in by Delano. They'll play it back behind the net. I don't think Lance knew where it was for a second. He's able to gain control of it. He'll take it back now as he sends it down to the near side. Raiders get it back out into the neutral zone. Into the offensive zone they come, as ripping a shot wide is Germander, and then there's a shot that drew the oohs and ahs of the crowd there. 14:40 to go here in the final period. It's 3-3 Delano and Greenway in the final game of quarterfinal Wednesday on the A side. As Birdsall sends this one up ahead for Trombley up into the far side corner. Birdsall trying to get it back now behind the net. It's taken away by the Tigers there. They'll get it back out toward neutral ice. And here come the Tigers up the near side boards. Into the offensive zone they come. It's knocked away there, and the Raiders will retake possession with Rajala. Rajala will send it down to the near side for Vekic. Vekic will carry it into the offensive zone. It'll play its way back around the Tiger net. The Tigers will have possession behind their net. A good job, though, by Greenway. Vekic, one of those, trying to take it away. We have Birdsall down there as well. Coming out of it is Vekic. Vekic slips, though, as he tried to play it behind the Greenway net. The centering feed was deflected back to one of the Tiger players, and here come the Tigers, and they'll chip this one down in, and they will change. 13:39 to go in regulation. 3-3 tie game. Comes around to the near side. The Raiders trying to clear it out. Vekic's clear attempt was knocked down. And now it is sent back out to neutral ice. On the MSHSL logo at center ice. The long pass into the offensive zone come the Tigers. There's a shot snagged with the glove by Wright.
Good to see Wright confident, getting on top of his crease, making that glove save and making it look easy. Settled in there, and teammates picking him up. And intensity just slowly continues to ramp up even more somehow, because this has been a very intense, fast-paced game.
With Joseph Blanchard, we've called his name quite a few times. He's been this kind of expert at taking these really long shots from, we've seen him take shots from pretty much the blue line. We've seen him take shots from the boards, just to kind of winds up and lets them go. And he's gotten quite a few accurate shots on goal from a really long distance.
Yeah, and they've done a good job creating some traffic in front of the net, as well as cleaning up some rebounds, and the defense of both teams really has done an excellent job of making sure if the goaltender makes the first save, there's not a second save that needed to be made, because everything's been cleaned up and taken care of, protecting the house, protecting their own goaltender's crease.
We're in our TV timeout here, 13-14 to go in regulation. Now, of course, now you have to make sure, like, what do you think these coaches are saying to the players in the TV timeout? Is it something along the lines of just, don't overthink the moment, don't let yourself make a mistake that you don't want to make in the situation where it's a tie game with 13 minutes to play in regulation?
I'm guessing Delano, they probably talked about what they want to accomplish on this offensive zone draw, and then just to remind some key pointers that they're looking at. Are they trying to get pucks deep? Are they trying to make sure that they're covering a wing a certain way? Just simplistic game keys, nothing too crazy. You don't want the kids to be thinking too much. Just give them a couple of points to key in on, I guess, and let them go back to work and just play. I mean, ultimately, that's the game, and the less they've got clogged up in their mind and the more that they can freely think and just play the game and let their hockey sense and skill take over, the better the hockey's going to be. And so I think it's just kind of reminders here and there. Maybe coach seeing something they're struggling on a little bit. That's okay. And just keep some pointers up and let them roll.
The face-off coming after the Tigers send it up into the bench, and off that face-off, it's back in the Greenway zone. Tigers able to hold it in, the play it around the net. It'll come around to the near side where Trombley will send this one all the way through. I think that sauce pass a little bit out of reach. I think they were trying to set something up there, but out of the reach on the back door. As they'll have an icing call and a face-off back in the Greenway zone. As 12:45 remaining in regulation. Dante Lawson back out there. We saw him leave earlier, and we were a little bit of concern about that, but he is back out there on the ice.
Yeah, Trombley there just kind of missed on that wrapped sauce pass, as you mentioned, and it caused the icing. And
trying to send it back the other direction is Travojevic. Travojevic will get it back out to neutral ice. They come quickly into the offensive zone with Ugric. Ugric will take a shot that's saved and held onto by Cruz.
Nice shot there. He went to try and get a rebound. The puck rose on him just a little. Got about a foot off the ice and allowed, Delano's goaltender to glove that one, Aaron Krause. Face off to his left here with 12:32 to go.
Delano controls the face-off, the play it around the net, and then it was, I think they tried to play it around, and I don't know what that hit, but it ended up coming back around to the it came around to the glove side of the goaltender Cruz, and it was a dangerous play for Delano as play continues in the Greenway offensive zone. Now sent back out to neutral ice. They'll bank it off the far side boards. As Greenway carries it into the offensive zone, they'll play it off the end boards. As Lawson was trying to catch up to that one, it'll be played around to the near side. Under 12 minutes to play in regulation, a 3-3 tie game. Played around to the far side boards. There's a long shot from the far side boards. It was going to go well wide. It'll come down to the near side into the neutral zone. As Greenway plays this one in deep into the corner. As Dunnigan has it there. Dunnigan will flip this one back out into the neutral zone where Greenway has it once again. They'll flip it down deep again. Down to the near side.
Raiders got away with too many men on the ice there, and sloppy change. Puck went right in front of the bench and was played there too. Nobody caught it, but definitely had 6 guys on the ice for a couple seconds with the puck in the vicinity. Nice break there for Greenway and a tough break for Delano.
The Raiders in there from their own zone. Send it back out through neutral as Delano now has it in their own zone. So Tigers play it down to the near side as we pass the 6-minute mark here of this third period. Here's Trombley working its way in. Trombley with a shot. That one just goes wide. It might have been deflected off the stick of Cruz or the pad. As Greenway maintains the offensive zone possession. A long shot from the point, and that one just deflects wide as well, and it'll carry him all the way back. Oh, and the Raiders catch a break. It hit the linesman, or that one was ticketed for deep in the Raider end. Comes back around to the near side. Delano into the offensive zone. Trying to get this one to Dunnigan. Dunnigan, though, got tied up nicely by Trombley. That's up in the far side corner in the Greenway zone. Shot through traffic. That was blocked. To be held in briefly by the Tigers. Now sent back out to neutral ice. As Lawson tries to force this one ahead into the Delano zone. Tigers send it right back out. Now it's in the Greenway zone on the near side boards. We're at the past the 7-minute mark here of this third period, a 3-3 tie game. Is trying to stuff this one under Cruz, but unable to do so was Jamander. That would have been his second of the game, and that developed very quickly as well. It was a good job by Jamander to take that one away. And almost stuffed it under Cruz to give Greenway the lead.
Yeah, Jamander looked like he was going to wheel it behind the net there with speed. The defenseman gave him a little space as he did that, so he took the cut to the middle. And Kraus was right on his post there to make an easy save, but a nice nifty little play to kind of cut to the middle as a surprise there. And as we mentioned, Cruz up to the task as he has been on 30 of Greenway's 33 shots. And Logan Wright, net for the Greenway Raiders, has 16 saves on 19 Delano Tiger shots here as we are under 10 minutes to play at the 9:59 mark of period number 3. Of
course, tonight's sponsors want to thank them once again. We talked about Sportsman's Guide, their big 60% off up to all merchandise sale. The Beyond the Puck event Saturday afternoon, or Saturday morning rather, 10 a.m. to noon. Also have Brew Pub, lots of matzo pizza, half a pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese. RJM Construction for all of your arena needs, building, remodeling, and everything else. Check out their work at the Tria Rink and the renovated Hopkins Pavilion. The face-off coming deep in the Delano zone. We're under 10 minutes to play now in regulation, a 3-3 tie game. Tigers looking to carry it around behind their own net. They'll play it down onto the neutral zone. Here come the Tigers. They'll gain the offensive zone. They'll chip this one up into the netting, and a face-off coming back in the neutral zone.
Yeah, and Pat, I got to give a shout-out to Ms. Hancock. She is a teacher at Delano at home listening tonight. Appreciate you tuning in, Ms. Hancock.
Thank you so much for all of you who have joined us this evening. A very late Wednesday night, just after 10:30 now local time. Got the face-off pushed up into the far side corner. Loose behind the net, turnaround shot, they score! Corey Dunnigan for the second time, and Delano is back in front.
You know, and it took 6 seconds off the face-off. Just a weird bounce behind the net. Dunnigan picks up the loose puck, and he slides it 5-hole on Logan Wright. He didn't even know he scored, except for about 2 seconds after that puck went in the net and the red light went on. And just like that, with 9:37 to play, the Delano Tigers take a commanding 4-3 lead. And now we're going to see some pressure coming from Greenway. We're going to see Delano try and tighten things up and lean on their goaltender, Aaron Kraus. And we're in for a fun 9:37 to go here and a tough. So what happened with that puck was wrapped, and it actually bounced, hit the side of the net, rolled up the back of the net, rolled back down where Dunnigan picked it up. He had a step on the Greenway defender, rolled to the front of the net with it. Logan Wright had to go to his left, slide back to his right, come to the middle of the net. That opened up his 5-hole, and that's where Dunnigan put in his second goal of the tournament and second goal of the evening. And again, Delano 4, Greenway 3, 9:29 to go.
Without the face-off, Delano hit with an icing, so we'll have a face-off deep in the Greenway offensive zone. And Greenway has had an answer for every Delano move tonight. It was 2-0, and Greenway responded. It was 3-1, and Greenway responded with 2 goals. You know, it's 4-3 Delano, still 9:29 to go. Let's see what Greenway has in them to respond to this one. Goes back out to the point. And now back out into the neutral zone as Greenway unable to hold it in. The Raiders will reset in the neutral zone. Down to the near side, and Ellich. Ellich will get this one up ahead. Going to dump this one in. It'll be steered aside with the stick by Cruz. Now the Tigers send this one all the way through. It'll end up on goal, so the Raiders will have to play it from deep in their own end as the Tigers change to go under the 12-minute mark here of this final period. 33-21 shots on goal in favor of the Greenway Raiders, but the Tigers have the more important number right now. That's a 4-3 lead. Play continues down on the near side boards in the Delano zone. No poke back out through neutral ice. They'll go for an icing and another face-off deep in the Tiger zone. 8:40 to go in regulation.
Looking like Greenway is going to start. We're going to start to see a lot of Trombley. I think we're going to see a lot of Lawson. They're going to start throwing their big guns out quite often here as they try and push back and get the game-tying goal. The Greenway faithful a little stunned that they lost that momentum from gaining those 2 goals and tying that game up. And I would imagine we're going to hear a little bit more from them here as they start to try and uplift the Raiders and get them to push forward and tie this game up.
The Tigers again with another icing off the face-off, so we'll do again another face-off deep in the Delano zone. Now 8:33 to go in regulation. Again to the right of the goaltender Cruz. Cruz was been stellar tonight. We've just passed the midpoint of the third period, 8.5 minutes to play in regulation. Play continuing down in the Delano zone. It'll work its way behind the Tiger net up into the corner. As Greenway able to come out with it. Down to the near side, looking for a shot through traffic. They score! Mitch Vekic able to redirect it into the net, and the game is tied again.
What a third period we're going to have, and what a game this has been. A shot from the point there, as you mentioned. Vekic was the one that tipped that in front, and it actually looked like Vekic may have, yeah, he did. He did get the tip there, and it was Cameron Lance with a nice shot to the far post. Vekic does an excellent job redirecting it from the right side of the net to the left side. It actually got a little bit of a piece of Krause's blocker and just barely beat him off the tip. The redirection just glanced off Krause, and just like that, unanswered just about a minute and a half later. It's 4-4 here. Greenway ties it up. 8:13 to go. Pat, you ready to buckle in here?
Oh, I think I've got the rumble seat strapped in by now. 8:13 to go, as you said. My goodness. This was the game that everybody had circled, and it has not disappointed. And here come the Raiders back into the offensive zone. They lose control of it, though, as the Tigers along the near side boards trying to sweep it out of their zone, but they can't quite do it as the Raiders able to push it up into the corner. Lance again with a shot through. It got through to Cruz, who made the save. Worked its way up to the far side. And now Greenway on the near side boards with it. Back up to Vekic on the far side as the shot through traffic is blocked. Able to be held in by Lance. Lance with a shot through traffic. Second chance, it's loose in front of Cruz, and he's able to dive on it at the last moment. Wow. Oh, my.
Yeah, that shot went from the point, hit the right pad of Aaron Cruz. The puck bounced to the left. Cruz thought he had it under him. His defenseman did a good job taking a Greenway player out of contention for that puck. By the time Cruz realized he did not have that puck, he was able to slide back over to the left, make the save, cover that thing up. Oh, we've got a dandy. Trombley was just coming to put that puck in the back of the net before Cruz was able to cover it up. 7:30 to go.
Greenway again controls the faceoff. One-time blast just wide. Second chance. Pushed wide of the net once again. Centering feed comes out to the slot. Shot, they score! Greenway has taken the lead for the first time with 7:20 to play. And who else? It's Dante Lawson.
That was a bomb. That loose puck slid out into the slot. Lawson came charging down full speed ahead. He had his eyes up. He knew exactly where he wanted to put the puck. He buried it just on the right side of the net, just underneath the glove hand of Aaron Krause, just inside the pipe. And just like that, Greenway takes the momentum from that tying goal and gives themselves a lead 5-4. 7:20 to go here at XL Energy Center. It may be 10:41 p.m. on a Wednesday night, but it is electric in here.
My goodness, Greenway with the lead for the first time. 7:20 to play. Dante Lawson once again making himself known at the moments that matter most.
And they show a video of his family celebrating in the suite. What a story. What a game. And the crowd is loud.
As Delano ices the puck again right off the face-off, and we're going to have an offensive zone face-off for the Raiders. 7:14 to go in regulation. Off the face-off. Played around the Tiger net up onto the far side boards. And it's been Greenway who has had to answer all night to these Delano goals. It was 2-0. It was 3-1. It was 4-3. Does Delano have an answer in them? We're under 7 minutes to play now in regulation. There's Miller into the offensive zone. Miller will send a shot wide. Almost took an awkward bounce back toward the goaltender, Cruz. Here come the Tigers back the other way.
Oh, that's just a mental mistake. One stride from getting to the red line to avoid an ice. Doesn't take that stride, dumps the puck, ends up getting called for an ice. And with 6:38, we're going to go back into the Delano Tigers zone to the right of Aaron Cruz.
Greenway 5, Delano 4, 6:38 to go. They're going to give that goal actually to Miller, so my apologies on that. And I talked about these jerseys kind of being tucked in. Unfortunately, it's kind of a glaring error to make in such a situation for me, but it was Miller actually with the go-ahead goal, not Lawson. Comes back around to the near side boards as Delano pokes it into the zone, back out into the neutral zone. And you just feel Greenway really taking control of this one, and there's a big hit thrown down on the Delano end, and you just feel like this game has dramatically shifted in favor of the Greenway Raiders. They lead 5-4, 5:47 to go.
Trombley
into the offensive zone is Trombley, but he comes in offside.
And Trombley buried that guy. Nice hit, too. Hands were down, shoulder to shoulder. Just smoked him. That's, when you think about hockey up on the range, that type of a hit right there, that's exactly what you're thinking. That was a little old-time Raider type of hockey. Fun to see.
We hit a TV timeout, 5:45 to go in regulation. Man, we got to catch our breath, too.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what, this has been a fun game, fun period. A great way to end the first day here, and we're not even done. We still got 5:45 to go, and we might have 3, 4, 5 more goals in us. Who really knows at this point? But tell you what, these guys got a little flair for the dramatic. Both teams doing a great job answering each other's punches to this point. And for the first time in this game, Greenway holds a lead.
We talked about just this resilience. Delano was up by 2 goals at 2 different points. After Greenway tied it, Delano went back ahead 4-3. And then Greenway able to tie it. And then the dramatic goal a moment ago to put the Raiders ahead with 5:45 remaining in regulation. 37-21 in favor of Greenway in shots on goal as Delano controls off the neutral ice faceoff. They'll play it down to the near side. A couple of players get tangled up, and that'll result in an icing. And a faceoff back deep in the Delano zone. 5:38 to go in regulation.
And you can tell Delano's kind of reeling a little bit. They just got to get back to their game, keep their feet moving north, and get some pucks to the net, lean on their big guns, lean on their leadership. They're older guys here, and time to go to work.
Off the face-off, controlled by the Raiders. They'll play it around the net. It'll come around to the near side. 5.5 minutes to go. Delano gets it back out to neutral ice. Here they come into the offensive zone. Into the far side corner it goes. What a job by the Raiders to play puck defense. They get it back out to neutral ice. Now here's Greenway with it in their own zone. We get a announcement about the scoring change. Here comes Delano into the offensive zone. There's a shot. That's saved. Big save there by Wright. As it comes free back out into up high in the zone. Delano able to hold the zone. They'll play it behind the net. The centering feed goes off a couple of skates. There's a shot wound up. That'll go wide.
Wright didn't even see it.
My goodness. 4.5 minutes to go now in regulation. As Greenway plays this one ahead, it'll go into the Tiger zone. Tigers back to collect it there. Here come the Tigers the other way, back into the offensive zone, but nice hit at the blue line to separate the puck away, and the Raiders bring it back up the near side into the offensive zone.
Trombley again on that hit. Man, has he been a leader now in this first period, struggled a little, and he's really taken his game to the next level in the last 2 periods, and he's doing it with a physical presence here late in this game.
Here come the Tigers coming in offside, though, is dragging that one in. Just a step behind was Peterson. We'll have a neutral zone faceoff. 4 minutes exactly remaining in regulation, which should be the final TV timeout.
I think they got to get a tick pass, so looks like we're going to play on, and then the next whistle we're going to have a TV timeout. And one stick handle too many there for the Tigers. Just get the puck deep or get across that line. Cannot be making moves at your own blue line or the opponent's.
As Delano controls the faceoff, they'll play this weather that's blocked if they try to get it in deep. Tigers getting tied up. Don't want to jinx anybody, but keep in mind we have not had any penalties in this game yet. 3:40 to go in regulation.
Remarkable and actually really fun to see.
Absolutely, as it's behind the Delano net. 3.5 minutes to go as it comes down to Lance at the point. Lance's shot through traffic was blocked and knocked down. It plays back behind the Delano net. Centering feed ends up coming through. Greenway maintains possession. Lance with a shot that'll go wide. Be held in on the back door by Trombley. He'll play this one through. As Delano cycles this one around. We chip back out to neutral ice. Here comes Lance into the offensive zone. Lance with a shot that'll be knocked down by Cruz. On the far side boards now again held in. If there's a shot saved by Lance, it'll come down to the near side. 2:50 to go. And we'll have a stoppage of play here as the Raiders come in offside. Boy, Corey Dunnigan being shown on the video board right now. He was the man who gave Delano that lead at 4-3 earlier in this period. But right now he finds his team down by 1, 5-4.
I think he'd love to have a hat trick and get this game tied up.
Face off deep in the Delano zone once again. Around to the near side. Then back out to neutral ice. As Miller chips this one in deep for the Raiders. 2:35 to go now in regulation. Being played behind the Tiger net. It comes around to the near side circle. Along the near side boards as the Raiders play this one through. There's Vekic behind the net. Vekic just happy to drain some time. He gets it back to the point as it's played back through by the Raiders all the way back around to the near side.
Just going to say tick, 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 tick as we come up with 2 minutes to go.
This one's sent in deep to the Raider zone, and the Raiders back to play it as Delano makes a change. 2 minutes to go. As Vekic able to drive this one in deep to the Delano zone. 1:50 to go now in regulation. 5-4. Raiders leading Delano.
A lot of Trombley, a lot of Christian Smith, a lot of Lawson, excuse me.
As the Tigers able to push this one in deep. 1:37 to go as the Raiders unable to get it out of the zone. Now they are able to get it back out to neutral ice. Tigers slip this one in deep. Minute 29. There goes Cruz. Empty net for Delano. The extra attacker Ronda comes free in the slot. Puck ends up loose near the side of the net, and it's poked to the back door. Back door! Oh my goodness! What a save by Wright on a point-blank shot. It's loose out front. Raiders poke it back down to the near side. There's a shot through traffic, and that one's blocked. The entering feed that one's blocked as well. It's still loose in the circle. 1 minute to go. Raiders get it back out to neutral, but Delano with it there. Garrett Durst. And that one just shot wide of the empty net by the Raiders.
I think it bounced and hit the pipe. What a save by What a save there by Wright, though. That was the save of the game. Slid over to an empty net right to his left side. Stopped an open net to tie the game.
There's Lawson throwing it toward the empty net. He scores!
And the Greenway faithful are going insane. There is going to be a party full of green on West 7th tonight here in St. Paul, and it is not for Lucky Palooza, and it is not for St. Patty's Day, folks. It is for the Greenway Raiders, who are 34.5 seconds and a 2-goal lead away from their first win at the state tournament since 2001. They've waited 18 years as a community to get back here, and they're very, very close here to finishing the job and punching their ticket to the Class A semifinal on Friday at 1 o'clock or after the 11 o'clock game against the number 1 seeded Matamidi Zephyrs.
Timeout Delano, 34.5 to play. Lawson, who had the shot on the go-ahead goal that was tipped in by Miller. Lawson with the empty net goal that puts Greenway up by 2. 34.5 remaining.
And they showed Lawson's suite there, and Frank Saratori sitting in there cheering on his Greenway Raiders, his alma mater, his hometown, and he was fired up too, and I know he was fired up this week. As I mentioned earlier, if you haven't found that press conference clip from the Air Force head coach, take a peek at it. It's a blessing that they had a bye this week. He was able to come back to St. Paul, do a little recruiting, maybe a little observation for looking for some future Air Force Falcons, but ultimately here to support his Greenway High School Raiders. My goodness.
Delano led 2-0. They led 3-1. They led 4-3 in the third period. And Greenway answered every time. And they have their largest lead of the game. They lead by 2 with 34.5 seconds remaining as the faceoff driven deep into the Greenway zone. Net empty still for Delano as it's poked back out to neutral ice. So Delano forced to reset. 20 seconds to go as Delano drives it into the offensive zone. Centering feed is whacked around. It ends up behind the net on the end boards. 12 seconds to go as another centering feed ends up on the far side boards. 7 seconds to go. It ends up in the corner. 5 seconds to go. Greenway with a long shot that'll go wide of the empty net, and the game's not over yet. Still 0.3 seconds off the icing. They're going to have to drop the puck one more time. It's the icing call with 0.3 seconds to go.
And the Raiders hugging their goaltender, who bounced back after a somewhat shaky start. It was fine. It wasn't any bad goals or anyway, but it looked like he was fighting the puck a little. Gave up 3 goals on the first 9 shots he faced. Faced another.
What a win for the Greenway Raiders. They beat Delano 6-4 in unquestionably the game of the day. Could perhaps end up being the game of the tournament. A lot of tournament left to be played, though. And all the storylines were there. Greenway making their triumphant return. The way that things went down against Hermantown, you had Dante Lawson all over this third period after all the things that he has been through, both on and off the ice of late. Left the game with an injury briefly, came back. 2 goals, 2 assists for Lawson in this game.
Fantastic game for Lawson, and player of the game probably. Just generated so many chances offensively and did such a good job. And I keep going back, Pat, to that save that Wright had. About 40 seconds left in the game. There was a scramble on both sides of the net. The puck ended up squirting behind the net. Delano picked it up, brought it out to the left side, and Wright was to the right side of the net, and he slides all the way over, just barely gets a piece of it, sliding to his left, kept the puck out of the net, looked like it was a surefire, going to be a tied game, 5-5, and big save. A couple seconds later, empty netter by Mr. Lawson himself, and just like that, Greenway now will advance to the Class A semifinal at 1 o'clock here on Friday at XL Energy Center. Make sure you tune back in. We'll keep you from working too hard on a Friday. We'd love to bring the game to you, and we'll be here with mnhockey.tv and looking forward to bringing you all the action as we kind of look to wrap up here, Pat. The first day of the state tournament is now officially in the books. There's 3 to go. We start with the Class AA tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Thoughts?
Well, certainly, if we take a look at the updated bracket now, of course, Friday morning we will have St. Cloud Cathedral taking on East Grand Forks in that 3-2 matchup. So all 4 high seeds won today, not terribly unexpected. But I think certainly, as we talked about several times, when people looked at the matchups, they said this was the game to watch. And boy, it was the game to watch today.
It really was, Pat. I mean, up and down, back and forth, a couple of lead changes, a couple 2-goal leads that went into 1-goal leads, ended up tying the game. Greenway scored a couple goals in bunches at the end to ultimately take home the victory. And just a fantastic way to cap off our first day here at the state tournament and a wonderful day of hockey. And to recap, we did go seeds 1 through 4, all with victories today. Number 1 seed Matamita, they at 1 o'clock on Friday will face the Greenway Raiders, who earned that opportunity here just moments ago. And then the first game of the day will be, the number 2 seed, the St. Cloud Cathedral Crusaders, hanging on to take on number 3 East Grand Forks. And should be an excellent day on Friday morning. I think the heat's going to get turned up a little bit in here. We're going to see some more hockey games like we saw just this last one tonight. And couldn't be more excited. Really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So do you have any quick thoughts on those upcoming matchups? Of course, Friday afternoon now we have our matchup set for the A side of the bracket. Do you have any quick impressions about what we're going to be seeing in those 2 games?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see the St. Cloud Cathedral East Grand Forks game, kind of contrasting styles a little bit with East Grand Forks, who likes to play a bit of a heavier game, physical game. They're talented. They can move the puck, but they don't transition quite as much. They want to possess the puck, get it low, and outwork you in your offensive end of the ice. In the defensive zone, if you have the puck, you're going to get hit. That's the kind of game that East Grand Forks plays, and the Crusaders like to run and gun and transition the game really well, and they like to get pucks wide with speed and play a more up and down the ice type of game. And so 2 contrasting styles there. And then you look at Matamita, who looked just phenomenal tonight. Man, were they really moving. They got solid goaltending as well. Did a really nice job on their power play, 30% on the year. That's just deadly. I mean, then you get this Greenway team, which kind of has a feel of a little bit of, this is like destiny, or I don't know. I mean, for a while there tonight, it sure seemed like we were going to maybe see them go down, see the dream run end after beating Hermantown finally and come to the XL Energy Center. They got down 2-0. They didn't look particularly strong early. And when a team's got the resiliency like Greenway has shown, not only throughout the section playoffs, but now here at the first round at the X, they're comfortable at the X now. They believe that they can win, and they know that they can be resilient and win. So gonna be a fun day of hockey Friday morning, and we're not gonna get too far ahead of ourselves because we do look forward to bringing the Class AA quarterfinals from you tomorrow. Our first game of the day at 11 a.m. or shortly thereafter is gonna face the number 2 seed, the Blaine Bengals, and Bryce Brodzinski, who, in my opinion, is the front runner for Mr. Hockey, will take on White Bear Lake, making their first trip back to the XL Energy Center since 2011. You know there's going to be a ton of orange in here tomorrow as the Bears make their return trip. Always a good team. Both of those teams have been top 10 for majority of the year, and Blaine coming in on a 17-game winning streak.
So other matchups tomorrow, aside from White Bear Lake Blaine kicking things off at 11, also have Lakeville South, Eden Prairie. That'll probably drop around 1:30. Moorhead against Edina. I'm guessing puck drop about 6:20 on that one, and Duluth East will take on St. Thomas Academy in the nightcap. Puck drop probably around 8:30, 8:45 on that one. Pete and Bart and the guys will have those games for you. So until Friday, for Nate and John Sands, as well as Pete hanging out down below us, and Todd Mulligan, who helped us out earlier, I'm Patrick Lilia signing off from the XL Energy Center on Day 1 of the Tourney 19. We had a thriller in the nightcap. Final score, Greenway 6 and Delano 4. Take care, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow morning.